Hey YouTube, and everybody in chat, this is your old pal Nutty. I hear today is Super Bowl Sunday, and I gotta tell you that football looks like a big walnut to me, but we got a great show, so without further ado, let's bring on Uncle Carey, and Uncle Mitch. Yay, bye!
Welcome in, everybody, to our latest live broadcast. Whoa, where'd you come from? Joining us, as always, our friend Mitch Morrison. Of course, I'm CareyHolzman. Today, it's Super Bowl Sunday.
Fun day.
The 8th of February, 2026. The Patriots versus the Seahawks, I guess. We're going to do a super build. You know the expression, they don't make them like they used to?
Yeah.
Yes, they do. Because what we've got in front of us here is a brand new, just released, just a couple months ago, SilverStone 90s themed tower computer case. And it's big, it's heavy, and it's not just got the look. It actually is heavy, and it's like made of the same gauge material. They built it the same way they built them in the 90s, except it's got accommodations for liquid coolers and things we didn't have in the 90s. And vertical graphics cards and things like that. So it's a little wider, but this thing, you're looking at about $230 for something like this. On the other hand, price per pound, this thing is heavy, empty. And we had this really weird situation where I had tried to update a BIOS on a Minisforum motherboard that we had a little mini ITX build, and then I screwed it up. And that led to another project of me trying to update a BIOS with taking the chip off, which I still haven't figured out yet. And Minisforum said, here, we'll send you an updated motherboard for you to review. So then I said, well, what case am I going to put this in? Because it won't fit back in the original case from the one I took out. And I thought, you know, the little green thermal take build that's got me so angry and so frustrated, I bet it would fit in there and all my problems would go away. And they did. But then when I took the parts out of the green build, which are all super high-end parts, which we have listed in today's video description, I said, well, now where do I put these parts? And I just set it aside thinking, you know, something will come up. And less than a few days later, our friends over at SilverStone said, Carey, are you interested in reviewing this case? And I thought, oh, that answers my problem. So even though there are some color schemes on that motherboard we took out, there's no case window on here. So it doesn't matter if the colors match or not. No one's going to see it. And furthermore, this will be a sleeper because we have a super high-end AMD, what is it, a 9950 X3D with 96 gigs of RAM, some ridiculous build that has just been sitting with me just fuming at how angry I was that it didn't fit well in that thermal take case. Now it'll be perfect in here because this looks like an old computer, but it's a rocket ship on the inside and no one can see the inside of it. This should be a great build. And SilverStone said, do you need a power supply for that? Because we've got this new power supply. It's 1,000 watts. It's our new Triton Gold 1,000 watt power supply. And I said, yeah, send it along. And thanks to SilverStone for doing that for us. And on top of that, it's interesting to me how I went to fix one problem, which solved another problem, which led to fixing the third problem, right? Which is what I was going to do with the old board. And everything has just kind of fallen into place. So a lot of times if I get frustrated with something, I set it off to the side and one of two things are going to happen. Either I'm going to just wake up with an idea or go to bed and think, oh, I have an idea for that. Or in this case, an example, company calls up and just happens to have something that we could desperately use right now. And I'm like, yes, please, and thank you. I love it when things work out that way because I think when it's all said and done, once we have the original, whatever started this all off, which was that mini swarm board I screwed a BIOS up on, if I can fix that, it'll just go back where it was, which I was never happy with that case anyway. I bought a very cheap case for it. But in the meantime, the Thermaltake green case that I was so upset with, that's resolved. I'm happy. But I wasn't happy with having these really expensive components just sitting without a home. These are super high-end components. And I wasn't happy with them being all jammed and crammed into that little mini ITX case. I have no doubt I'm going to be very happy with this build. And we may have to like stall a little bit because I'm afraid this is going to go together in like 10 minutes. Remember, we've already got the liquid cooler attached, the operating system's installed, everything's roaring to go. We just have to physically mount the parts and plug it in, and we're done. And there's some really interesting modifications or options available, including a piece that can go in. These are facades, these drives, that can replace that with 3 drives that you could take out and externally and internally place in there. We have a hidden USB port right up there, a couple of USBs and a C as well. We have a power button. As you can see, it's a momentary press. That's old school. Because back in these days, you flip it on or flip it off like a light switch. Today, it's a momentary contact. We've got a turbo button. I don't know what you do with the turbo button today. And we've got the 2 7-segment displays there that, let's say 66 or 33, whatever your 486 was at the time, or your 386 or your 286. And that's just there for looks. It doesn't really do anything. You can, just have it light up and play the part. We have a removable magnetic cover here that displays 2 intake fans. So that's a lot better than the way they made cases back in the 90s. It's almost as though they went back to the 90s and said, let's make a case unlike any other with a bunch of features and upgrades before it became popular to like filter fans. They just used to have fans, and we've got some protective tape right here. We're going to peel that off. And that's what we're doing today. So welcome in, everybody. Thank you for joining us.
Happy Sunday. Yeah.
Let me see if we can see Mitch. Let's take this out of the way. How you been?
Good. Yeah, went for a motorcycle ride this week, and it was about 80 out. It was gorgeous. Went with
hot.
Yeah, went with a buddy. Yeah, for February. February. You're drooling there.
That's some good Gatorade.
Yeah.
Practicing.
Yeah.
When they dump it on the coach.
Yeah. When did Mitch get a beard? Well, Chad, I filmed a dramatic monologue with a full beard, and then I'm not a beard guy, so my acting teacher's like, you're going to run home and shave it off. I'm like, yeah. So he's like, no, just take off the sides and try a goatee. And I'm like, you're killing me. But I don't know. People that I hang out in bars with really kind of like it. I don't like it at all, but I got another clip I'm filming where I'm a private detective, and so I think the goatee will work very well with that. But when that's done, off it goes. Can't go on my next trip mid-March. I'm not walking up to customs with this on. They'll go step in that room. So I'm like, no, I like the clean-shaven, innocent. Anything to declare? No. Why are you coming in here? To spend a lot of money. Okay, come on. Come on.
Sounds like you've done that a few times.
Yeah, a few times, yeah.
I've got these new glasses now, so I should be able to read the chat room a little bit better. It's looking a little blurry to me today.
How thick are? Oh my God!
If you look at me from an angle, my eyes will probably look like Milton
Coke bottles. Yeah,
Office Space. Wow!
Oh, it makes you look much more intelligent.
Did my IQ just go up?
Yeah, which isn't saying a lot.
Yeah. Well, sometimes just keeping my mouth.
Now, Mutt and Jeff. Yeah, all right.
David Graham says, it looks good, Mitch, with a $2 super chat. Thank you, David. Thank you to our friend Buster. Hello to Buster. Sends us an Amazon gift card in lieu of a super chat prior to the show, as he always does. Thank you. Hope everything's good there in Edinburgh.
He's got to give us the weather.
No, it's got to be in here. I just haven't seen it yet. I'm scrolling.
Yeah. In Bonnie.
David Graham
So-
with another $2 super chat says, hey, this looks fun.
Huh.
I hope so.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be frustrating.
Mitchy likey.
Brian Weber renews membership, now a member 4 months. He says hello from South Florida. Welcome in.
And
Let's see, is Buster in there? I don't know if he said he was going to be busy today and he'd be watching it later. I don't see him. I just want to double check.
he always gives the temp.
Yeah, I think he mentioned he'd be checking in later. They're about 8 or 9 hours ahead over there, so it's like 10 o'clock.
It's got to be somewhat cool, though. I mean, not ridiculous.
I think it's below freezing or pretty close to it and raining usually. But still, I mean, that's how you know when summer's here. We don't know. How do we know?
Yeah.
Every day looks the same. Isaiah says hello, as well as Tim says, I love the intro. Thank you, Tim. Transvat says hello. Tim, let's see. Mortant joining us. Welcome into Mortant and John Williams, 3D Everything, Eddie Casanova, Colazzo. I also see Sean Skinner. Ben Laird joining us from Scotland. Of course, David Graham and Mark Gaines. Doman 2000, John Williams. Marlena, our channel administrator, hanging out with everybody there, saying hello. And Phil Stodd says hello, as does Xander Vanderhoven. Patrick Manny and Luke Greenia. Matt joins us and says hello, as does Dennis. Jim Kenny. Steve Miller.
Abracadabra.
So they sometimes call him Maurice.
Yep. Wild Mountain Honey.
Going into the deep tracks now?
Yeah. The B-side.
You have email, and I don't know if you've already seen it. Peter is definitely,
He is in here.
and he did announce the temperature.
Why did I not see it? I'm going to have to look a little closer.
Thicker glasses.
Take my glasses off?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, thank you for letting me know that, because
Okay.
I still don't see him. Let's see. Tony Aindow says hello. There's Scott saying hello. Maybe I just haven't gotten to it yet. Eugene Eldago joins us and says hello. There's Mark Leibowitz joining us from Chicago. Roy Starman says, can you store junk food in the CD area? Well, I prefer to store junk food right in this area here. And I like easy access to my junk food right on top of the case. But I don't know. We'll open up the panel here in just a minute. We'll take a look at how it's designed on the inside. Frank Jimmy says hello. Glasgow says you look distinguished. Is he talking to you or me?
Yeah.
No. He's more distinguished than I am. By that I mean old.
Yeah.
What? I said old.
Speak up, son.
There he is. There he is. There's
Okay.
Buster.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. He says hello to everyone in the chat. Carrie, Mara, Mitch. Temperature in Edinburgh. Oh, it's warmer than I thought. 43 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 6.1 Celsius, and it is raining.
Whew.
I wasn't too far off.
Yeah.
Frank Jimmy says, uh-oh, it's even evil Mitch from a mirror parallel universe. I can tell by the goatee.
Yeah.
Richard DeFry says hello.
Boy, I'm glad we're not back east. I mean, with that cyclone, weather that dipped down
Oh,
there.
who are you kidding? You just be in the house making a video anyway. I ain't going outside.
Yeah. I'd be snow skiing myself. Yeah.
That's just getting out to the mailbox.
Right.
Let's see. I think I got everybody. Tim Davern says hello. There's Ron Hillier joining us saying hello. Polaris Racer says hello. Kilobyte joining us from New York, where it's 15 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah. That sounds a little nippy.
Carey and I both grew up in Michigan. Michigan. So we're Michiganians or Michiganders? Michiganders sounds kind of dorky, but Michiganians sounds very.
I'm going to disagree with you on that one.
Okay, Michiganders. Yeah.
Go Shadow saying 51 Fahrenheit and Northeast Washington State today.
It's a male goose, a propaganda. Propaganda.
Propaganda?
Yeah, propaganda.
Flashing Guy says hello here in the chat room. And Mark Leibowitz said, Carey, if you need a cup holder, I think I have one with the right color faceplate, although it might have an EITE interface. WD180K says hello here in the chat. So welcome in, everyone. This should be a fun show. And, you know, look, the Super Bowl's not on for another 3.5 hours or so. So we have plenty of time. We'll wrap up. We'll try and wrap up at our usual, 2-hour mark. That still is 90 minutes before Super Bowl, so we can all watch that, or at least watch the commercials.
Yeah, watch the funny commercials. Yeah.
There is a funny commercial that you'd think they wouldn't want to air from Amazon Alexa with Chris Hemsworth, where he's afraid that it's listening in all the time and it's planning to kill him. And you think, really, that's how they're promoting it? But it's funny, and so I guess in that way it works. But it almost seems like what somebody would do as a parody.
Okay.
But for them to parody themselves, I give them kudos for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not a big fan of either team today. I don't have a favorite. Do you?
What's football? Oh,
well, it's a round black and white ball. Oh wait,
yeah.
That's soccer.
Yeah.
That's their foot. F-U-T. Football.
Yeah.
I mean,
doesn't a rugby ball look like a football? Kind of. No, not really. But that's more leather. Well, a football's leather, but
it's pigskin.
Yeah, but a rugby ball is still oblong that they throw and catch and tackle each other with no pads. Great sport.
Do you know that the Detroit Lions have been a part of the NFL? I think since the very beginning, and they have never once played in a Super Bowl. Never once. Not a single in the entire history of the franchise. Someone said to me,
our hometown, rub it in.
Aren't you from Michigan? How can you say such thing? And I'm like, this is how I deal with pain, is coping through humor. And every year you get your hopes up, and every year you get disappointed. And after 62 years, I think the franchise has been around. We're on Super Bowl 60. I think they're the only team that's been around since the beginning that never. But there's always hope for next year. I'm sure.
And where are they playing it? That's how little I would know.
Where's who playing?
The Super Bowl? What city?
Santa Clara, California, at Levi Stadium, where the 49ers typically play. Is it the 49ers, right? Am I saying it right? I think that's right. I'm not a football nutcase, but I do like watching it from time to time. And certain teams that I have some connection with, I'll root for. Or for Subaru Mike being from Wisconsin, I'll root for the Packers, unless they're playing the Lions. But if they're playing the Bears, I'll take Mike's position. That's a rivalry that you never want to see the Bears win against the Packers if you're from Wisconsin. But
since Uncle Carey knows that Uncle Mitch's great-grandfather was one of the founding members of the Green Bay Packers. So,
and yet you don't even know where the Super Bowl is this year.
Right. So
really pass those genes on and get your grandfather proud.
Great-grandfather, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
He's not feeling so great right now.
Not great, yeah.
That's interesting, though.
Yeah.
So then you have 50 you can loan me till Friday?
Yeah. Andrew Turnbull.
Turnbull.
He and 4 other gentlemen. And they really were meat packers. The original guys that played the football. Worked at the packing plant. So,
Caution guy said Cleveland Browns never been to the Super Bowl either.
Well, that's Cleveland. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and what else?
Mistake by the Lake.
And the Drew Carey Show. Okay, yeah.
That was Parma.
Oh, that was okay.
Okay, well, let's see. Detroit Lions founded in 1928, joined the NFL in 1930. So it's more than 62 years. That's more.
Okay.
That just made it worse.
Yeah.
Jeff says it's 51 degrees Fahrenheit and rainy in Oregon. So that would be an Oregander or an Oregonian.
Yes, Jeff, I'm thinking of road tripping this summer because I cannot spend another summer in Phoenix, Arizona, where it's 115. So instead of doing on my motorcycle, I'll probably road trip it with my Subaru Forester. And yeah, never been to Portland, never been to Seattle. And if I'm up at Seattle, I might as well visit Vancouver, and then come home on the Pacific Coast Highway. That ought to kill 4 or 5 weeks to get out of this Africa hot. Do you see the total reference? All right. So
mentioning says I wish I was in Miami, Florida. You know, we have a Miami, Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
You guys know that? I just saw in the news today that nobody goes there anymore, and the town is kind of
Oh boy.
getting vacant. I had to take a road trip down there, and it sounds like a very pleasant place to be away from all the people. Seeing a lot of people on YouTube right now. I don't know what this Prism Live is. Apparently, it's some kind of an app you put on your phone that helps you gain followers. Like, I guess if you already are established, it's not really that beneficial, but it does a lot of things for you automatically that people that have been using YouTube for a while now, creators, probably have already found their own solutions for. But I don't know if they're getting paid to do this, but I'm seeing more videos than ever of people walking around Disneyland for like 4 hours, just recording nonstop. I'm seeing people walking around Los Angeles. Guys walking to the Chinese Theater, he's walking to the Capitol Records building, he's walking down Sunset Boulevard, and it's all live. And I see a guy at Fremont Street in Las Vegas every night, just walking down Fremont Street, just looking around, turning around, maybe walking to one of the hotels. And I feel like I'm almost there, because the videos, even though a lot of them, when they get dark, they look better than ever. I don't know what they're filming on. And they'll often have a little Prism Live logo in the corner, and I just see this surge. I'm only seeing it in the big cities. I don't see anybody in Phoenix. I don't see anybody in Detroit. It's like Los Angeles. That's why I'm wondering if somebody's getting paid. Las Vegas. I saw one, the guy was at Knott's Berry Farm. I'm like, that's still around? And they're just walking around. It's live, like you're there right now. No. And I'm riveted to it. I'm like, oh, this is just like being there, but I didn't have to go all that way. I didn't have to spend all that money. They got on the new, I think it's a new ride, Indiana Jones ride over at Disneyland. It's terrible. I'm so glad that I did not wait in that line to get on that ride, because I feel like I just rode it, and it was just, I never got out of bed. I was just using the remote, and this was all live. So I'm kind of interested to see where this goes, because unlike short form content, which I call commercials, these are full uncut, live, unedited live streams of people visiting places that are quite far away from me and expensive. And I can't believe the quality of it. I mean, just to watch Disneyland yesterday, it was a sea of people, and I was just like, oh, I am so glad I am not there. And they stayed till like 12:30 at night. And then you see them get on the tram and go back over to the parking lot, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember all that. Well, I just did it a couple of years ago, and that's a $500 day. And then they'll go back tomorrow and they'll do it again. So anyway, if you're interested in watching that kind of content, I think I would be if I didn't live in the US, if I was in another country. And I wanted to see not the propaganda and not the years old videos someone took of Disneyland, but just a live, here's how crowded it is. Here's, a live walking through, and they never shut the camera off the whole time they're there. If they go eat something, they're eating it with one hand and still holding the selfie stick with the other one. They get on a ride, everything as though you're right there. That's saving me. I feel like I can check it off my list. We'll have to get you one of those when you travel to Taipei and have you just walk around and film.
Yeah. Channel Zero. Mitch, come to Australia. Well, Channel Zero, I did. I think if I wasn't there last year, I was there in the fall of 2024. I spent 4 weeks, did Sydney, my first helicopter ride ever in Sydney Harbour, Melbourne, and then flew over to Auckland, New Zealand as a tribute to my father. Bungee jumped off a bridge there, A.J. Hackett's bungee jump off a bridge. Liked it so much that went once. They pulled me up, and I said, "Gee, can I go again?" And the guy's like, "Sure, you want to do it again?" I'm like, "Yeah." So did it twice there. Spent about 4 days in Auckland, but heard nice things about New Zealand, so I really want to get back. Again, our summer is their winter, and so and everyone speaks English. I'm kind of getting a little tired of these countries Uncle Mitch goes to, like Taiwan here in mid-March, where English is not. Now, Taipei being the capital, I don't worry, but if you go out of the city, boy, if it wasn't for Google Translate, I'd be in trouble. So, yeah, really would like to go back to New Zealand and do both islands, the north, probably start from the south and go north or something like that. So, yeah, would love to rent a motorcycle, but it's pricey. So, like $200-300 a day with a 14-day minimum. Oof. 2-week minimum. So I'm like, what if I get there and it rains for 4 days and I'm stuck in a hotel cursing 300 because I'm not driving in the rain. You know?
They're going to say that's a Mitch problem.
Yeah, it's
welcome to New Zealand.
Yeah, tough cheese. And I'm like, nah, I'll just rent either a convertible and I can put the top down, pretend I'm in a motorcycle.
Mark Chambers says hello from Auckland.
Yeah. I thought it was a heck of a town, Auckland.
Yeah.
Really liked it. So
Matt wants to know what I think of the YubiKeys. I mean, I use RoboForm myself, which can emulate these kind of...
Me too. Mm-hmm.
The problem with the YubiKey is you better have another... You can't just have one. You have to have at least 2 of them. Because if anything happens to the first one, you're kind of screwed. I think it's overkill. I don't know if everybody wants to play like they're James Bond. I think that's what's kind of going on in the world. I think people, and on the one hand, it kind of looks like, and it's just my opinion, right? Being raised as Gen X, we were taught to just stop fearing life, stop being afraid of everything, go out and live your life. You're not going to be here forever. Stop cowering and stop looking over your shoulder all the time. That's no way to live. So I have a very different attitude based on the fact that I was brought up that way, right? My generation, you're a little bit older than me. I don't know how you were raised, but I was raised to get outside and go find something to do until the till the streetlights come on, and find something to do. Get out of the house. If you stay in the house, we're going to give you chores to do. So whatever you want to do, you go outside. What do I do now? Well, outside's a scary place, and you face your fears. You go through it. When you're protecting customer data, like let's say you're a physician, something like that. Due to
HIPAA, which is a law. I mean,
well, yeah, there are governmental regulations and policies for people in those positions, not for us, but for them, or financial management, stuff like that. It would be your responsibility to protect your customers' data. But some people, I think, I don't know what they think, but they seem to feel like, oh, I need that too. There's a journalist that they're trying to get into her iPhone to figure out where she got the information that's top secret, and whoever she got the information from broke the law. And they want to punish that person. And she's saying, hey, I'm a journalist, I'm not exposing my sources. And they can't get into her iPhone. So somebody broke the law. And this is a fine line because, the journalist is supposed to protect her sources. You're also not supposed to break the law. So if the journalist knows who murdered somebody and the journalist won't tell you who it is, wouldn't you want to compel, especially if the person that was murdered was somebody you cared about, wouldn't you want to compel them to have to expose the information so that justice could be served? At what point are you now a traitor to your own country? So there's that side of it. Then there's the other side going, well, without that information, we couldn't have exposed this. So I see both sides of it. But on the other hand, you have to change the laws, right? Being able to lock everything down, it's a good practice to keep your data safe and secure. Not opposed to that. But there gets to be a point where it's ridiculous. I would watch Seinfeld and he'd go to unlock his apartment door in New York and he'd have like 6 locks and a thing on the floor. I'm like, really? I see people do that, and then they have a window right next to the door. You just
Right.
break the window and come in.
Yeah.
And then the problem with that is there's a downside, which is, of course, if there's a fire or you got to get out, you might get burned up before you succumb to the fumes and the carbon monoxide or carbon dioxide that's occurring in the fire. So for me, there's a balance. It's not don't have any security, and it's not don't have too much. And for my personal use case scenario, I use RoboForm. You use RoboForm.
Absolutely.
And RoboForm does passkeys. And RoboForm, it's a lot cheaper than a YubiKey, let alone having multiples. You're not going anywhere without your own YubiKey. That's sort of like, it's sort of like making your life much more difficult than it needs to be when most people don't. And you're willing to go through the expense and the trouble endlessly. I would give you one exception, though, and that is if you're a victim. If you've had something happen to you, not to somebody you know, but to you personally, that involved password credentials being stolen. So now you want to spend this money and go through all this extra effort to protect yourself. I get where you're coming from. But if it's only existing in your head because you watch too much stuff on the internet, I guess it's your money, but I'm not getting behind. I mean, I'm not telling you not to, but you won't see me using one. No way. There's two-factor authentication. There's so many other ways to do this, and all you're doing is hurting yourself. I mean, ultimately, you're going to lock yourself out. The YubiKey is not going to work. It's going to happen. Just give it time, and you will have locked yourself right out of your own computer and paid money to do it. And if you want to, I mean, maybe somebody wants to do that, have at it. But if you're asking me how I feel about it, if you're not compelled by law and you don't have a personal experience that would justify all that trouble, I think it doesn't make any sense. It's completely pointless. It's a psychological thing. But, those are my thoughts.
Eugene, Mitch, are you sporting a Toto shirt?
Can't really
Surely you can't be serious. Don't call me Shirley. Here, let me stand over here just for a second. All right. Ta-da.
I'll stand back here where everybody can see me.
While I block his face. Ta-da. Okay. Yep. Boys are touring this summer with Christopher Cross and a band Carey and I know because they're the band formed in Hamtramck, Michigan, a band by the name of the Romantics. So I will see the boys August 13th here in Phoenix instead of driving to Vegas or LA, something like that. So unfortunately don't have front row, so the guitarist won't give me the stink eye when he sees me. Not him, not Mitch from Phoenix. Our biggest fan, Steve.
Let's see. Go Shadow says, computers storing information that's supposed to be secure really should not be directly connected to the internet. Well, there is that. Also, why is it on the computer to begin with? Like, let me store something as evidence that I never want anybody to ever see and use as evidence. Well, then get it off of there. What are you doing? People do things I don't. I'm the kind of guy, if somebody says, listen, do you want to know a secret? Promise not to tell anybody. Don't tell me your secret. I don't want to know it. If you're not willing to come clean and be honest and transparent, don't tell me. When companies say, we'll send you a product, but you got to sign a non-disclosure agreement, you can't talk about it. I don't want your product. When you're ready for me to talk about it, then send it to me. Don't waste my time. People's secrets, I've seen people go, oh, I have this really big secret I can't believe. And I'm like, nobody cares. Nobody cares about your secrets. It's all in your head. Good for you. Oh, did you find out so-and-so did this? Yeah, everybody knows that. Oh my gosh, what a terrible tragedy. Nobody cares. You're the only one who thinks it's a tragedy. Nobody's even given it a second thought. It's all in your head. So enjoy playing that little game. I'm not playing it with you. I have no interest. So that's how I feel. All right.
Case closed. All right.
I want to make sure I'm real clear on this.
Yeah.
People make a big deal out of nothing. Like, really? That's what you wrote? That's your big secret? That was your big secret? Don't waste my time. At least make it good. Make it worth it. All right. Well, should we take a look at this bad boy and see how it's built?
You want this side open first? Yeah.
Yeah. Let's Let's get the power supply moved out of the way here.
We've got thumb screws that are not, what do you call them when?
Captive?
That are not. I'm going to assume that these are. Oh boy, I didn't have my Wheaties this morning. I'll go carry.
Oh, you're right. These are captive. They don't come out. It's that damn arthritis.
Yeah. You said I was a little older. Define little. All right. Okay. There you go, muscles. Oh, I thought it was a slide on.
Feel the weight on that.
Jeez.
I'm telling you, they still build them like they used to.
You built some cases where you've gone, don't I'm afraid to even do this.
Oh yeah, they go waka, waka. Sounds like a pac band.
Yeah.
All right, we'll set that down.
So there's the inside.
All right, so we got a couple hard drive trays, it looks like, right? Those are metal too. Oh my gosh. We've got a GPU support bracket here.
Okay.
That's a nice touch, because obviously you can fit a big GPU in here.
Yep.
And then we've got the vertical mounts here, if you wanted to put the GPU vertical where no one can see it when you put the cover on, because that makes sense. This one here, we unscrew this one. Here, I loosened it for you.
Oh, okay.
So you're going to do the same thing, and then you're going to just pull it back about an inch or so, and then lift it straight up. And we've got a filter under there. That would be
magnetic, I would assume.
Is it magnetic? It looks like it's kind of matte. Maybe it.
You pinch
those.
those.
Yeah, it looks like there's little clips here. Maybe. I was going to say, because you only really need to filter air you're drawing in. If we're exhausting air out, we don't necessarily need the filter. It's actually working against you in that way. It does look like. Yeah. Well, it wouldn't go out this way. It looks like maybe you take these two screws out, if I had to guess.
Okay.
And then you pinch these two items up here, and then I think it slides out from the bottom. Because obviously this piece is molded, you can't get around that. Primarily not necessarily to remove it so much as clean it and put it back in.
And is this size like a 360 radiator? They come in 240 something or other, and then the longies are 360.
Well, you figure each fan is let's say 120 millimeters.
Okay.
120 and 120 is 240.
Yeah.
240 and 120 is 360. So then the only bigger way you could go is that the fans are 140s, 14 centimeters. Then you'd be looking at 140 plus 140, which would be 280, plus 140 would be 420. So it looks like it would accommodate that, even though the cutouts seem a little bit small for airflow, but it looks like it would hold it. In fact, we can lift this up here and tilt it down. People can see the top. So it looks really easy to work on.
Yep.
In fact, in some cases, you can even remove this whole top and put the radiator in separately, but I think this is, I see rivets, so that ain't happening. It'd be nice if this center piece came out.
So it comes with two fans in the front, two 120s in the front, and an exhaust fan.
Yeah, that looks like a 140 here in the back.
So that comes included.
What else can we see? Documentation. Well, that's not documentation, that's warranty information.
This side up, okay.
There should be some screws and stuff in here somewhere. Let's get the other panel off. Yeah, usually there's like a little box of parts or something.
Yep, and there is indeed.
Well, before you take it out, let's show everybody where it's at.
Right there.
So there we've got the, is that another drive? Does that hold drives under there? So if we take this thumb screw out right here, and that one is tight, so let me grab a driver. Just loosen that up. Wow, why is that so tight? Now that screw is not captive. That's the first one we've seen yet.
Okay.
And then does this whole piece come out? It does. And does this hold drives? Yeah, that holds two drives, which you could leave out. You could loosen some, take some of the weight down off of the machine by keeping that out if you're not going to use it.
Okay.
And it's completely hidden by the power supply shroud, which is why I didn't see it. It's back, if I put my hand in here, You know, there's your power supply.
Yep.
And then on the opposite side is where the drive tray goes. And the drive tray can be moved to two separate positions. If you notice down here, we've got a couple of keyhole slots right here. So you can move it over to the left or move it to the right, depending on if you've got a modular power supply and how deep it is to get in there and plug the cables in. It's a nice touch. These bays up here, these are just here for show. I think this one of these opens, maybe not. Let's see. Do any of these open up? Doesn't appear so. Tell you what it looks like though. It looks like these swivel. So you turn the release. That's what locks it in if you wanted to free the space up. That's clever. Look how they're in an open position.
Okay.
Right? Closed, open. And you see how the mechanism works back here. See right here?
But could you put, what would you put then in this space?
Whatever you want. What do you want there? You got real quiet.
More storage. Storage, yeah.
Yeah, I think they have a bay you can buy that goes in there for putting 3 more drives in that you can externally remove. I think. I seem to recall seeing that.
So that would be 3 drives, and you've got the 2
down there
here, and then
and 2 more here.
Yeah.
So that'd give you that'd be a heck of a NAS right there.
Yeah.
Although you could still buy a NAS.
And
that
then
holds that
here,
many drives
and then here
stuff.
on the back, you've got room for 2.5s.
Oh yeah, look
Right
at that. Yeah, we got
Nice,
some
nice eye. All right.
rubber grommets there for cable management. And is there anywhere else for 2.5-inch drives? Nothing I'm seeing that's obvious. Very interesting design here. No fans on the bottom. Of course, that's where your power supply is going to go. So you should have a filter underneath here. Yeah, very easily removable to be cleaned and put back in. Yeah, I mean, like I say, it's about $230. It's not cheap. Then this here, like I say, this covers up your USB ports, keeps your front looking 90s. And if you don't want to use the GPU bracket, these 4 thumb screws, you can remove the GPU bracket, take it out. Or if you do want to use it, you can loosen these, and then you can move this forward and backward based on the length of the slot, and then this track up and down so it can accommodate any graphics card. So that's a very, very good design. So overall, I'm very impressed with just the build quality of this thing from SilverStone. This does feel like a 1990s case. Like I say, even the material is 1990s thick. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do today is we're going to put our motherboard in here that came out of that little Thermaltake green case that it did not fit well in. And if I open this box, what am I getting hung up on, my screwdriver? Let's see what is included. No, there's not a whole lot in here. We have a Ziploc bag that contains another bag. So within the box that was in the case that was in the box that came in the shipping box, I have a bag that contains a bag.
2 bags. Yeah.
So we've got some screws. We have a few zip ties. We have a fan extension for some reason. Maybe because the case is so tall. I don't know what you use that for. These, you remember when computers used to come with keys?
Oh yeah.
This actually, I guess if you turn the key, the system won't turn on. You have to physically unlock it. And I think you can leave it in the unlock position. You don't have to. But these are the round, I forget what they call these keys, the round keys that are used like in coin doors and stuff. So you get a set of keys. We have some more screws, a variety of screws in here. And finally, we have this bracket, which I don't know what that's used for yet. I don't see any documentation. Nowhere. So I guess they're supposed to go online and download a PDF to figure out what this is for. Because I don't see anything missing at this point. Yeah, I kind of looks like it goes right here. No, wherever it fits, there's a hole. This kind of is, forget the word for that, kind of sticks out. It's obviously got to fit into a hole somewhere. That this does something for something, but I don't know yet. Boy, it sure does look like it goes right there. I mean, if I'm looking... It looks. Huh. You got your allergies going on there.
Uncle Mitch, yeah.
He's allergic to me. I don't know where that goes. We'll figure it out, though. All right, so for now, let me just move this out of the way.
I don't know. What do you think? Power supply first? Load that bad boy in, or you want
that power supply is pretty heavy.
Yeah.
I think we should put the motherboard in first. I do kind of feel like this GPU support bracket's going to be on the way. So I'm going to just take it out. Here, let me give you something to do.
You do, all right.
He can loosen up this, more than loosen up, just take out the 4 thumb screws and remove the whole piece.
Okay.
And you know what we should do? I should just use that plastic bag, that Ziploc,
okay,
that I had 2 seconds ago. And we'll put those screws inside of here. So if we want to put that back on, or at the very least, we'll keep it with the rest of the extra components we are not using today.
Yeah, and like you said, that can slide.
Yeah, show everybody.
If your GPU, this can slide over this way or over that way.
Yeah, it's quite a nice range of movement there.
There, but we'll take it out. I don't think the bracket will fit in there. No.
Well, put it in upside down. At least we keep it together. That'll work for me. All right, so we'll just keep this out. We'll put this stuff back in, or not. It really doesn't matter. It's up to you. Looking in the chat here. You want your drink? Yeah, we've had some warmer weather than normal, so plants are blooming much earlier than they're supposed to. And you combine that with the wind, and if you've got hay fever or anything like that, you're in for an early allergy season.
Yeah. Popping Claritin D's like Tic Tacs. We won't show the logo. All right, there we go.
Mark Leibowitz was talking about security. You can have all the security that you are willing to put up with. Yeah, that security can really be a thorn. All those people that can't remember their passwords and sit there and complain about it all day and don't realize how important that password is once it's out. You pick a tough password that's difficult to put in. It's also difficult to be guessed or hacked. And you'll curse every time you've got to use it. But it's like cursing because you have to lock your car doors, or you have to have a key to start your car, or you have to, hey, remember? You used to have a key to start the car and a key to open the doors. That was a different key. You always had two. You had a square one and a round one. The round one was like for the trunk and the doors, and the square one was for the ignition. So you had 2 keys for the car, not just one. Now you got a key fob, or in some cases just your smartphone if it's like a Tesla or something. So, you know, we still have a way to lock and unlock the car, but the easier we keep making it, easier it is to steal those cars. Just keep that in mind.
And look at this chat for a Subaru. Look at the size of that fob and my keys. I can't put that in my pocket, so I got a little mini carabiner here so I can clip it on my pants, because that's just, it's too much. So then when I walk, everyone knows I'm coming. Jingle, jingle.
I think you're the
No,
janitor.
that's a plate in my knees. All right.
I thought it was a plate in your head.
In the head, yeah.
Needs to be tightened down. All right, so there's already some pre-installed standoffs in here that I'm just noticing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A full-size ATX board would be right over here, 7, 8, 9. Those are not installed, so if you want to put a full-size ATX board in, there should be some spare standoffs in here. We're going to put in a tiny little motherboard in this. And remember, no one's going to be able to see inside of it. No one will know. And it has the same components as a regular size motherboard, just with fewer slots. 96 gigs of RAM, 9850X3D. It is a rocket ship of a motherboard. So don't let the size fool you. This is an insanely powerful motherboard. And yes, I could take the CPU and the RAM out of it and the SSD and go get a full-size board. It'll look a lot nicer in here. There's no case window.
No.
The other thing is, when I bought the cooler from Thermaltake, I wanted it to match the case. Even though that case also has no case window, I like the idea of it. And well, there's nothing wrong with the cooler, apart from the fact that, you know, it's got a ton of cable management that I think could have been much better thought out. It does work well, but you're not going to see the color of the cooler once the panels are on this. So let me show you. If we move this aside, just, I'll tell you what, let's do this. Let's bring it down like this. Okay. And the motherboard I've got on the floor here because I've left the water pump attached to it.
When you see it, you'll be green with envy.
Okay, this is what came out of the Thermaltake build. This is our whole board right here. And again, I cannot express enough that the size of this board is irrelevant. It still has a slot if you want to add a graphics card. So unless you're somebody that's adding a lot of other PCIe slots, but the original reason for this board was to go into a smaller case. That was a tight fit, and it was really frustrating. I didn't want to work that hard. It's possible to make it fit, but I thought it was going to be a lot easier given that everything was made by Thermaltake. But when you got to kink the hoses of their own cooler to make it fit, that ain't right. So I know in this case, it should just slide right in without a problem. So if I just set this in just to give it a test fit, do me a favor, hold that block for me. And then I need to rotate this so the I/O ports face me, because that's where the I/O ports need to go. And then, you good?
Yep.
I'm just going to set this down here just to kind of visualize how that's going to fit and look. Oh, wow. That was way too easy. Furthermore, let me just put a screw in here. I just need one in there to hold it in position. And we can lift this up and show you how ridiculously tiny that motherboard looks in here. And this will hopefully, so we can do this one of two ways. We can move the fans to the other side, or we can leave the fans on this side, depending on your own personal preference. I feel like looking at this right now, I think we need to move those fans over, but tell you what, you hold on to that. I'll just hold on to this because rather than put a screw into it. You ready?
Yep.
Move that over like so. Yeah, I can see how this is going to be a... Tell you what, you put your hand in there and just hold that pump down. And I'll hold this. That makes more sense. And that way we can show everybody what that's going to look like. Oh, I got to back it up a little bit.
How tiny that is.
Yeah. But again, look at the power it's got.
Yeah.
So we could put a bigger motherboard that won't make any difference to the power. It'll still run the same speed. And we'll pay more money for that board. And the board may have RGB we'll never see and features we don't need. So that's why we're just going to use what we have. And nothing wrong with it. So I think what we want to do, now you notice the hoses on this, typically on these water blocks, the hoses go towards the RAM. But on the mini ITX board, there's some different rules that apply, especially on AMDs. Mostly on Intels, the hoses will always go towards the RAM. But a combination that it's AMD and it's a mini ITX board limits the amount of space you have between the RAM and the water block. So for the hoses to come out from the opposite side that I'm used to, I would think I would put this water block in like this. And again, I don't know how much of an angle of a good view you're going to get there, but I'm going to say that's an easy fit, super easy. And I kind of like the idea that the hoses are off to the side instead of moving across the board. Just it's cleaner, even though no one's going to look inside of it. There's no transparent panel on it. But the more I think about it, I do want to move these fans to the other side. Now, whether or not we want those fans to draw air into the case or to extract air out, when testing is done, it doesn't really seem to make much actual difference in performance with regards to cooling. You might see a 1 to 3 degrees Celsius difference if it's in a push configuration versus a pull. You know, part of me thinks we should be drawing air in from the inside, you know, from the top, draw it into the case, and then out through the back. On the other hand, if you put something on top of this computer, you're not thinking, like me, you put the motherboard box on top, you are suffocating these fans, and you could run into an overheating problem. That can still happen if you're blocking the fans on exhaust as well. So, given that there's a filter on here, it does appear to intentionally be made to filter incoming air, pulling air in. So I think for that reason, I'm going to think about this for a minute. That means we're going to look at the ugly side of the fan when we open it, but again, only when we open it will we see that. Push air in and pull air out. It makes more sense for the airflow to go in one direction, or in this case it'll be two, right? We've got fans here blowing air this way.
And a rear exhaust fan.
And then, yeah, the rear exhaust fan is blowing air out. So everything right now is going from front to rear, just like it's supposed to. But the minute you add fans anywhere else, you screw up your whole airflow. People are like, oh, it's going to run cooler. In most cases, it'll run hotter because instead of your airflow moving swiftly from front to back, it's now being split between what's going out the top, or in our case, what's going in from the top. That's going to affect what's going in from the front. They collide together. Think of it like water. If you have a stream, the water flows very easy, but the minute you add another stream that T-bones it, it interferes. Which way does the water start flowing? And in that one spot, you might have a little whirlpool. If that's air, that means that's a spot where it's not getting cooled. So you actually made your case run hotter, at least in that spot, by not having all your fans moving the air all the same direction. I'll often recommend to people, if you're going to have the fans for your radiator blowing air out, get rid of the rear fan. That way you have the air come into the front and go out the top. Because if you just keep adding more and more fans, I would even argue that having fans in the front is completely unnecessary, because when these fans are exhausting air out, where's the air coming from? It's coming from a natural vacuum that occurs based on how much air it needs. The more it's blowing out, the more it's going to automatically pull in. So unless you have a graphics card here that needs additional airflow over it, which is entirely a thing, right? It's not uncommon. In that case, they say, yeah, put a fan to blow over that video card. So this is clearly designed to have a big video card put in it. And that's why there's two fans in there instead of just one. One of those fans is down so low, it's actually there to cool down any hard drives or anything that might be hidden behind this shroud. Yeah. So, I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I actually like it like that.
You like it with the fans up like this?
And then that's drawing air in.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just the way it is right now was how it was installed in the Thermaltake case, but I didn't have a whole lot of choice there because these fans are RGB. So if you were to put them inside the case, you won't see the RGB. That was the same with the Thermaltake case. And I said, well, what's the point of having RGB on the fans if you can't see it? If you turn the fans so they're in a push configuration instead of a pull, then you're looking behind the RGB. So that's why the orientation of the fans was on top, and why they were in a pull configuration was strictly for the aesthetic visual. So even though there's no window here, you will see the glow of the fans through the top of the case. If we turn the fans around so that the air is blowing from inside to out, right now they're pulling air into the case. If we turn the fans around, keep them on this side of the cooler, again, the side of the cooler doesn't seem to matter much, then it becomes, well, on the inside of the cooler, you won't see the RGB at all, regardless of which way you face the fans. But on the outside, what I'm calling the outside, the side that connects to the case, if we turn those fans around, you're looking behind the RGB. So it's much more muted. It's meant to be seen. The RGB is meant to be seen in its brightest, most colorful way, which is dead on, straight looking at the fan, not looking behind it. So again, if we move the fans to the inside, what's the point of having RGB? You could have saved a lot of money and just not used it. On the other hand, since we already paid for it, we might as well use it. And since it doesn't really seem to make anything other than a personal preference of a difference, which direction the fans are in, or which side of the radiator the fans are placed, I think your suggestion is valid there. Just leave it the way it is. And we can just mount it exactly like it is. I'm looking to see how it's going to line up. So because this is a 140, remember I said the cutouts were a little bit narrow. These are 140 millimeter fans. And if I turn this around to show you, if I can do this without knocking us off the air, we can place this anywhere from, the edge of it being here or the edge of it being over there, because there's room for a whole nother fan if we wanted to. And so you have these grooves, with these slots rather, and when we mount this, you can see those fans are much bigger than the opening, right? These fans drop down over this area, but it's designed that way. It's okay. I just find that a little bit odd, but we can use the fan screws, same as we did on the thermal take as a reminder. Take those screws out and then put them back in, and that one screw will hold the fan and the radiator. It means a faster install, fewer parts. Otherwise, if we put the fans on the other side, then we get 8 additional screws that are really shallow that go right directly from the case into the radiator. So I suppose the tricky part of this really is once we get the fan screws removed, we kind of have to hold the fan screws by hand. Not the fan screws. We have to hold the fans in position because nothing's holding them there anymore. So what do you say? Should we try it?
Yeah.
Maybe I should go ahead and lock that board in. That's what we're going to do.
Did you want, you think you can reach the 4?
Well, I think as long as we get one, we'll be okay.
Yeah.
So the question is, which screw holds the board in? Is it in this bag or is it in this bag? No, that's the keys. I know that's definitely not it. Where's one more bag of screws? There it is. So is it these?
Or is that power supply?
Well, the power supply should come with its own screws. This has standoffs in it, so I have to assume. But what's weird is this one's a Ziploc resealable bag. This one is not resealable, so it kind of bothers me because you're always going to have extra screws. It's always good to have an extra Ziploc bag so you can keep them for any future needs. It could be 10 years from now. Whenever you do your upgrade or you need to do a repair, you may need to, add or change something in your internal components. And these screws, they differ from one case to another, from one manufacturer to another, or even the same manufacturer but a different model. So I strongly recommend you take all your extra parts and you keep them together. And it's hard to keep them together if you can't reclose the bag. So get a Ziploc. It's worth it. Even if the bag is this big and that's all you got, at least you won't lose the screws as they fling out of the bag over, time. And just looking at this little screw here, I think this might be a standoff screw, but let's just see if it fits in here. Now, if it spins and it never tightens, you probably have one that's the wrong thread size, or if you can't get it started, you probably have the wrong thread pitch. There can be a wider pitch, wide threads, or what I call fine threads. So there's only 4 screws on a mini ITX motherboard, 1 in each corner. They're all the same. If I can get the opposite corner I'd feel pretty good about that with regards to moving forward here. Maybe if I can see if we can turn this just a little. If I can get this corner. Oh, that's not so bad. And I see the 12-pin CPU power connectors just right there. So this spins for quite a while, which makes me think I've got the wrong thread. That's just spinning.
Yet the other one went in.
Well, I guess the bag of screws, they're not all the same screws.
Okay.
So if that's the case, then you need to pay particular attention. Actually, that's a wide thread screw. I don't know what the problem is. Let me see. This is a fine thread screw. Let's see what this does. They look exactly the same. You need to have good eyes to see those thread pitches. Yeah, that one tightened right up. So these ones, these short ones with the coarser threads, these are used for like hard drives.
Okay.
So mixing them all up like that does require that you pay attention to which screws you're using, because otherwise you can strip out the inside of the standoff, or you can strip out the screw. So just FYI moving forward. Let me just set these here for now, and hopefully I won't knock them over. When it comes to getting this heatsink, the radiator installed, we have to take these fans off. So that's where, where there are cases that this whole piece comes off, this whole top. That would have been a nice touch if they would have, instead of riveted this, used screws and we could lift it off. It'd be a lot easier to work on it. Working on this when it's upright and vertical like that, it can help assist keep those fans where you want them until you get at least one screw started on one fan and one screw started on the other. But then having these drive bays in the way, might lean me to move this further back towards the board. But when I do that, I'm going to restrict my access to that 24-pin CPU power connector that's in this corner. So then the order of events matters here as well. So I think what I want to do for right now is we have to remove the fans. They have to come off this radiator. We need those screws to go through the case first, then into the fan, and then into the radiator.
Well, we can pull that radiator out, right? As long as you're careful to remove the fans, take it out, and then I can hold it, and you can take the
well, man, if you want to do it the easy way.
Easy peasy.
All right. Smart guy. Yeah, I don't have to remove it this way. You're right. I know we want to get that out now.
What's holding it in?
Well, it's got this big piece here. This is a big radiator. And it does have to kind of go out on an angle this way and then out on an angle up like this. Almost vertical to get that out. But yeah, I see what you're saying. We can just...
Yeah.
You're going to hold it?
Yep.
Anyway, doctor.
Are you ready?
That's how I got a hole in the palm.
Are you ready for the joke of the day?
Am I ready for the joke of the day? Are we ever?
Yeah. It's a Star Wars joke.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm ready.
Okay. How many stormtroopers does it take to change a light bulb?
I don't know. How many stormtroopers does it take to change a light bulb?
None, because they're on the dark side.
Yikes.
Well, that fan came off, and I don't know.
Well, yeah, it's putting it back on. That's going to be hard. I can just set it.
That's okay.
Fine. But this one will fall. I want you to pay more attention to that one.
Yep.
Let's see if I have one for you. Let me think about this for a minute.
You love those dad jokes.
That's true.
Yeah. They're awful. Just awful.
Yeah. More, please.
Yes.
More. Masochist.
Okay, I got it, the fan. So until you say you got it, yeah.
You got it? I got it.
Yeah. I ain't got it, yeah.
I got it.
So
in theory, we would put these down. I'll just set them in here.
Okay.
Just the way they were, because we want those wires all coming out towards the back.
And then the screws go in, yeah.
And then the trick is to get this back in. What you want to do is you want to turn it mostly vertical. You want to tuck it in underneath the lip here.
Like that?
Yeah, and you may need to kind of come closer to the top of the computer case, and you'll see it'll fit right in. And now the tricky part is to align the hole in the fan mount to the hole in the case, and then behind it to the hole in the radiator. So this is a little bit more difficult in the sense of, instead of using screws on the other side or mounting the fans to the other side. But it's, it's not like it's.
You got one in? Yeah.
Well,
I can hold the fan. It's a little
hard to tell. Let's see if I found it. That ain't going nowhere. So I don't want you to hold the fan at all. I only want you to hold the radiator for me, and I'll hold the fan so I can adjust it.
Okay.
And the problem is, I cannot see where the hole is in the radiator, and the top of your hand is blocking my view. No, you know what? The top of your hand is not blocking my view. This piece, I should maybe start on the other side. Because once we get one started,
see, Chad, 4 arms are better than 2.
And how many eyes?
Yeah. Yeah, you ought to be able to see, this one. Looks like you're off.
Oh, I see. It doesn't go all the way over. It goes right about somewhere.
There, you're closer.
So sometimes it's a little easier if we had this set straight up, right? Because then you just have to hold the radiator, and then the fans will rest on top of it. However, that also means maybe putting the case on the floor so I can see the top. Once we get that first one started, everything else, at least on this one fan, should line up much easier. And then we'll have the difficulty getting the next fan started. So pick your corner, whatever you think is going to be easiest first. And let's see.
You're closer there, I think.
Well, yeah, but you can't hold the radiator so high.
Okay.
Kind of meet me halfway there. You're in my light.
Yeah. Aziz.
All right. That one started. Yeah. And then we can start this next one, since this one will be super. Well, actually, we could probably just go to the other corner. Okay, so what I want you to do is push the bottom of the radiator towards the top of the case. But we need to...
Like that.
Right about there, I think. No, we're not.
Nope. See, it feels more.
Do you see how much I'm moving this radiator?
Yeah.
I need you to push it towards me. You're going to have to push it from the bottom.
Push it from the bottom. Okay.
Right down here. Let go of this. Go down here. Push it in like that. Perfect. You can let it go. All right, so why is this wet?
Okay.
So, just turn this around. I'll show you what we've done. Now, the beauty of this is, this is not our final location. This is just this fan right here. Nope. This fan right here is locked in. And we're just going to loosen the screws a little bit so it'll slide within the grooves here. Within the grooves right up here, where we want a final position to be. But don't do that yet. You can if you want to work harder. And then decide, what distance you want between the hoses that are coming out from this radiator to that rear fan. because these hoses, if you get them too close to the fan, they're going to interfere with that rear exhaust fan. So you do want a little distance. And you might say, yeah, but if I shove it all the way this way, it looks really good inside. Nobody's looking at the inside.
Right.
Remember, there's no transparent panels on the case. And if you go completely the other way, if we move this spar this way, you'll probably be more likely to see the RGB closer to the front, but depending on how you place this in your room or your office. And it may be a good reminder not to put things on top of the case, because not only would you be covering up the lights, you'll be suffocating it. I have a bad habit of placing things on top of my computer case. And you could place some little things on here, I suppose. You'll be only partially blocking your airflow, but it's kind of defeating the whole purpose. There does not appear to be any other place for a radiator to go. It would be kind of neat if the radiator could have fit right up in the front here. I don't think it will. No, no. That's unfortunate, because if I could have, I would have preferred the radiator go vertical here and just keep it off the top altogether. And then there's no other place for it. So, you know, on the other hand, find me a 90s case that you can put a liquid radiator in it anywhere. So that's why I say that's kind of a traditional 90s case on steroids in that sense. They're accommodating for some modern technology that we did not have in the 90s. Let me take a look here in the chat room right quick and see what everybody has to say or has been saying.
Nice to have you join us on this Super Bowl Sunday.
Ghost Shadow mentions you can use like an ice pick or something like that and push it through, or even a toothpick just to hold it in position for you. That's a good tip, absolutely. And then, you know, that gives you, obviously you can't use the hole that the ice pick or toothpick is in, but that all you need to do is line up the other three, and then actually once you get the first one in, the other three should follow pretty easily, as we demonstrated live. Did I have a dad joke? Just looking through the chat here and also thinking of what are the more recent dad jokes I heard. You know, it's funny because I chuckled at the time, and it was only yesterday, and I can't remember what the subject matter was even about.
I could have sworn you told me one this week.
What was it about?
I don't know. That was pretty funny though. So.
Boy, this is what two old guys. I'll tell you a joke. I only remember the punchline.
What's the subject matter? Well, you can always Google. There you go.
Yeah, let's do dad joke. I'm gonna cheat. Hey, what's brown and sticky?
Don't know.
A stick.
Okay. I like the one, why did the bicycle fall over?
Why?
Because it was tired.
It was too tired.
Too tired, okay.
You know, I used to hate facial hair,
Okay.
but it grew on me.
That's not in my case. Don't like it. Don't like it.
Did you hear about you know what you call a French guy on the beach wearing sandals?
Mm-mm.
Running late, checking your phone.
Philippe Philop.
Great.
Philippe Philop.
Okay.
Philippe Philop.
Better check your phone.
Email.
Yes, I forgot about email. Thank you for the reminder. Let's see, what do we have in email? Oh, it's from Philippe Philop.
Okay.
Our friend Mark Gaines sends an Amazon gift card in lieu of a super chat.
Hey, Mark.
Right on. Thank you, Mark, joining us in Northern Ireland. I think that's all I missed. Okay. Sorry, Mark. Got distracted because of Nutty. Anyway, let's get back to it. I suppose I don't see anything else in the chat. Terrell Cochran said, if you're a Russian when you're in the bathroom and Finnish when leaving the bathroom, then what are you when you are in the bathroom? You never provided us the answer.
Okay. I was riveted, all right, waiting for the punchline.
European.
Aha.
There it is.
And on that note, all right, next fan. All right.
Yeah, let's get this one aligned. So one of the problems I find myself in right now is I've tightened these up a little too much.
Yes, it's squozed in a little. It's squozed in a little.
I don't know why
tight.
squoze is wrong, by the way.
Yeah.
I think squoze should be a word.
Yeah.
If it's frozen, if you freeze something, you froze it, and if you squeeze something, you squoze it. They go, no, that's not how English works, Carey.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I'm the bad guy. I'm the one.
Speaking of 80s, were you a big fan of the Squeeze? Wasn't that a band called
Tempted.
Squeeze? Yeah.
They have a song called
Not
Tempted.
The Squeeze, it's just Squeeze. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a song called Tempted back in the 80s.
That was a big hit, you know?
Which, if I'm not mistaken, I got to double check everything I say now because I'm starting to confuse things. Squeeze, Tempted.
Yeah.
If you don't know that song, just pull it up here on YouTube and you'll hear it and you'll say, I heard that song. Yeah. I think that's the only hit they ever had, at least here in the US. So I suppose they'd be squoze now.
Squoze.
All right, let's see. Putting this fan in. Let's go like so. Well, that's a lot easier with the screws loosened. This should go right butt up against the other fan. And in theory, whoa, that magnet is working today.
Yeah.
What a difference, getting that first screw in there.
Yep.
Once you do that, everything else mostly lines up easy peasy. So we'll get one here on the opposite corner. And then we're going to slide this back and forth and see where it looks best. So once we have that figured out, then we can put the other two screws in because they will line up perfectly. And we'll tighten them down a bit. But don't over tighten these screws. There are rubber grommets around the fans there to prevent vibration. And if you tighten them down too much, you'll squish the heck out of those.
You'll squoze. Yeah.
It'll be squoze.
Yeah.
And then that could create vibration. So one of the first characteristics, if we turn this, that you want to look at, once you have that first fan in position, notice the gap here, how it's getting wider between the two fans. So that tells me I don't have the second fan straight. I'm never going to get that screw to find the mounting point. You can especially see it on the inside where this fan is like
off,
this.
yeah.
So we're going to have to remove this, just back it off a little bit so we can move this down.
Because, you're way off.
Way off. It looks like I'm on this point here is too high. So now the problem is there's no place for me to go here. So I need to move this whole assembly back a little bit or forward. I mean, at this point now I'm going to have to make a decision. How far forward can this go? So I've got one screw point here and the other one way over there. So what is stopping us? Oh, Oh, I see. This one right up here. It'd be nice if this was all one slot. The reason they don't do that is they have no structural integrity. So in the gap between spots, let's just take this out. Now I should be able to slide that even more. Oh, can I get it over here? That's the question. It's coming already to a dead stop. So I feel like I can't get it all the way to the back where I want it, and I can't get it all the way to the front. And that's happening because of that point right there. So what I want to do is I'm going to move this over to this one. Little geometry work here. Because I don't want to lose the position on the fan. And then we'll take this one out. Now, in theory, take that out altogether. This should slide more. Ah, that's my problem. Okay, so now I'm looking for where this can go, where the screws will reach. See, so if I line it up here, then this one doesn't line up over here. Keep bringing it this way. And we've reached the end as far as this can go. So these two will line up, these two will line up, but these two will not line up. So if we keep moving, because we have to now, keep moving back.
That's as far back.
Well, because there's a screw up here that I moved over.
Yeah.
But because these are 140s, when I line up one where all 4 holes, the other one doesn't line up. So it looks like they want us to push it all the way back, if I have to guess. And at this point I have to guess. That's what it looks like they want us to do. So let's move that back. We'll put this screw back in where it was. That's why you don't want to put all the screws in at once. Just at least one to hold it in place.
But if you're going to have a problem with that 12-pin, that power thing, that's a modular power supply, right, that they supplied?
Well, it's regardless of whether or not it's modular.
Should you put
kind of different? You're saying you could put it in now,
and then shove the whole thing back, and then you know.
Yeah, I mean, I could also just take the 2 screws out, take the motherboard out.
Yeah, okay.
Like that. That's the other reason we didn't put all 4 screws in the board.
Okay. So now there you put that back.
Okay, so now I see that mounting point, that one, that one, that one, this one, this one, this one, this one. Wow, it's neither to the front or to the back. It's right in the middle. Could we take it further back? Do we want to? You know, the further back we go, the more likely the hoses are blocking the rear exhaust.
Right.
So I think the middle's where it's going to have to go.
Okay.
It looks like right about there is as far forward as I can take it.
Okay.
So I think that's what we're going to go with. Let's tighten those down a little bit. I still want to have some play. And then these should now be aligned with the hole so long as the fan isn't tilted. So if I put this, like I can't even see the mounting hole in the fan. If I raise the fan up a little bit, that by itself should automatically align it with the radiator behind it. In theory.
In theory.
Yeah, it's there. And again, you don't see me tightening these down very much. I just really want to get everything started and leave it loose enough that there's room for alignment. But you notice when we do the 2 opposite corners, the final 2 opposite corners go straight in with no struggle. It just goes straight in, immediately lines up with the mounting hole we can't see. Now this one we only have 1 screw holding it in. I should have gone to the opposite corner first, because now this is drooping. Oops. Ooh, I got that right at the edge. Perfect. Perfect. Now those should be snug, but you really don't want to, I cannot stress that enough, you don't want to over tighten these. Now in theory, just to give you an idea what this is going to look like, if we spin it around this way, you'll see that we've got it mostly mounted right there in the middle.
Yep.
And it looks like it was designed to go that way based on where these support bars are almost right through the center of the fan. And if we bring this up onto its feet, it's actually lighter than I thought it was going to be. Probably because we have the panels off of it.
Look at that.
We have a nice clean install. So I want you to remember, this is a super high-end system. You know, that board with that RAM, that solid state drive, and that cooler, we're well over $1,000. Well over $1,000 just for those parts. So when you're building a computer of that caliber, a $200 case isn't out of the question. We also have lots of room for future upgradability. So as designs and new parts come out, this will always be a cool 90s looking case. So when the Intel 25th gen comes out, in theory, we could upgrade this in 10 years. Or whenever we want. I'm just using that as an extreme example. We're talking about that 24-pin CPU power connector, which is right up there. Pretty difficult to get to, and there's a few ways we can get to that. And one, as Mitch mentioned, would be that we take the modular cables outside of the power, they're in the power supply box. We can lay this flat again, temporarily take the 2 screws out that are temporarily holding the board in position for us. Now that we've got the hard work done, that board will just lift out. It's still connected to the water block, but we just need to move it away a little bit, plug the cable on, fish it through, put the board back on, and tighten it down. The only reason that would suck, really, is if you had a power supply go out and you need to change your power supply. It's a little bit more work unless you buy the exact same power supply, in which case it's super easy. You just take the 4 screws out, unplug all the modular cables, put the new power supply in, plug the same cables back in. It's one extreme or the other. It's either more difficult or it's easier. So you don't want to reuse the power supply cables from one manufacturer to another. They are not universally the same, and it could cause your whole system to let the magic smoke out. And you're not going to be a happy camper to find out you were being too cheap or you didn't want to do the work, and now you just cost you a whole system. That's not a warranty issue. That's just bad decision making. So just be aware of that. But overall, I mean, it's a really easy system for us to build in. We have front port umbilicals, right? And then we've got the power supply, and we turn it on, we're done. Think we can do that in the next 30 minutes?
Yep.
I like your positive attitude, mister.
Yeah.
All right. Any questions in the chat room? Ghost Shadow says it looks like there's almost enough room for a second motherboard in there. For sure.
And in chat, if you promise to behave yourself, you have a real treat because you can see an acting clip from your Uncle Mitch.
Ah, yes.
Yes.
We've got that to show.
So be kind and rewind. No, that
Shouldn't the plural for blouse be blice? Why is it a pair of underwear but only one bra?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense either. What was the one? It's kind of a. I'm going to walk the fence on this one, but. Wait a minute. Now I just remembered the other joke.
Okay.
It goes something like.
He had it and lost it.
Booby trap spelled backwards is party boob.
Okay. Dyslexic, am I? Mm.
All right. Anyway, I lost my train of thought. Power supply. Let's do this whole power supply thing now, since that's where we're at. And I set that down somewhere. Okay. So everybody can get a good look at this. This is the SilverStone. Here, Mitch, you can hold it. Lift it up. There it is. This is SilverStone's brand new 1,000-watt gold rated. This one is a white edition, which Well, now that I think about it, I kind of wish it was sent in black. But you're only going to see the back of it. And I only say that because the back of this motherboard we put in is a black I/O shield. It could have just as easily been silver. So a minor little nothing. Sometimes finding white power supplies that are good is slim pickings.
Can I open it?
Yes, please.
Okay.
No tape or anything. Oh, okay.
And what we have, documentation.
Okay.
Pretty.
Come on, Muscles. You can do it. Here we go.
In there. And our box of cables. Of course, we've got our power supply. We have the thing that Carey loves to eat.
Oh, my chiclets.
Yeah, very silicon. All right.
Put that over there.
Yeah, and all the bag-o
cables.
Oh yeah, and screws that are not white. That's the
Black, silver.
Oh,
they're 80s style. I mean 90s. Okay. That is a thick sticker on here. I feel like it's a magnet. Notice there's no hybrid switch on here, just an on-off. That's interesting. And silver screws on the back of the power supply here. And silver screws on the bottom of the power supply. So I think we're going to stick with the silver. I appreciate that thoughtfulness. And then on the back are all of your connections. We've got these. I'm guessing these two here for the motherboard. You know what? These glasses are great when I'm trying to read something 10 feet away. But these other glasses are better. They said you could get, progressive. No, just give me different glasses.
He's got 14 pair in the drawer.
That's right. Okay, so we have our 12-volt connector for a video card here. 24-pin ATX. It just shows this line going halfway around, so I'm guessing that's what that's for. No, that's not what it's for, because this says EPS right here, so it would go over here. This says SATA and peripheral. I don't know what this is. Probably why they included direction.
Yep.
And then this says more, so all four of these are for either a graphics card or CPU power. And then these are SATA peripherals, which looks like that's all that is a SATA peripheral, but they did not, it's the only one not labeled. Huh.
So do we open the bag of...
Yeah, sometimes the answer is right on the cable itself, right? Let's take a look at the motherboard power connectors. And these bags are always sealed. I don't know why they don't make them like a Ziploc. They didn't give us any kind of a bag to hold the cables either, did they? So I don't want to tear this open. I want to neatly cut it so we can keep the bag and keep the cables together. Okay. And of course, when you get a white power supply, it should come with white cables. That's pretty standard. Okay, here's our big motherboard power connector. And then we've got our VGA power for the ATX 12-volt line for the video card, if you have a video card that needs that. This is also for a video card. And this one, this is SATA power. And Molex, old school.
Jeez.
SATA power.
SATA.
This one looks like our 12-volt. Does that say CPU on the side?
CPU on the side.
All right, this is another video card power cable. If you're not using the 12-volt. Didn't I already say we had a 12-volt?
Yeah, I thought.
It's small. It looked like that. Do I have another one that looks like that? No?
Molex.
Yeah, okay. I guess I'm imagining it because there's only one place to plug in the back of the power supply. So what would you do with the second one? But that's your 12-volt optional, more modern power connector for modern-day video cards. So you're covered either way, older graphics card or newer. we're not putting a graphics card in here today. We have a 3080, I think, laying around, but I can't be bothered. Let's see. We need two cables. We need the CPU cable. This says CPU, right? Take that one for me.
CPU,
Give me
yep.
those other ones. I don't think we need any of these. And just keep that giant one on the end. That should be for the motherboard. Everything else can go in the bag.
PCIe.
And this is why I'm keeping the bag.
PCIe.
Yeah.
Oh, CPU.
Oh, that was the CPU as well?
This is CPU.
So they give us two of them. Nice. All right, we only need one, but that's a nice touch to know that we've got two of those.
And then SATA.
And another SATA. Okay, great. Lots of upgrade options here. Just set that right over there. And
the 12 pin is the one that we're going to have problems with.
yeah, and even then, it's not that big of a deal. I'm going to just place the power supply in with the fan side down, because this fan is bringing air in. That's why it's always important that your computer isn't put on thick carpeting. It needs to be able to, your power supply, you're not monitoring the temperature or airflow of your power supply. Nobody seems to care if they suffocate their power supplies. They care about their thermal paste, and they care about their GPU frames per second and temperatures. And the poor power supply is like, hello, I'm the thing providing the power. Without me, you know, and it's just falling on deaf ears until it dies. And yeah, it's kind of sad to be a power supply in today's day and age. Nobody cares about you. You're just not the latest internet fad.
And yet it's got power.
I mean, it's one of the most critical parts of your whole system, and let's not monitor it at all. Let's just ignore it. That's okay. I mean, it's how I earn a living. People ignore stuff, and they'll call me up and I'll say, well, you suffocated your power supply. It's got dust this thick on it, underneath of it. You never cleaned it. And it's been running hot for probably over a year. How would I know? My CPU temps are great.
You do like Uncle Mitch. You just the first week of January and the first week of July, twice a year, clean out the machine.
That sounds like a great idea, but then people forget. Life gets in the way, and you almost have to. Do you have a calendar reminder that pops up for you?
No, I'm single, so I have nothing else better.
I love the honesty.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Really looking forward to Valentine's Day.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Sad.
You ought to see what I'm getting myself. All right.
Singles Awareness Day.
Yeah. Do they have that?
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, remember I complained I didn't get a Ziploc bag for the case screws? But I did get one for the power supply.
Okay.
Like, you're going to use every screw in this bag. There's no reason for this to be resealable.
Right.
You're never going to use every screw in this bag. There's no reason for it not to be resealable. So I'm going to use this bag that came with the power supply to hold these extra screws that'll, when we're done. Look at that. I don't even have to provide my own bag.
Did we need a cable for the water pump, or does it come with its own?
It will need a cable, but
I just thought of that. I'm like,
well, typically it's going to grab power off of the 12-volt CPU fan header.
Okay.
But there will be probably an additional cable for the RGB to light up. So, yeah.
Which, why plug it in, since there's no window on the case?
I don't.
No.
Well, because you will see the RGB.
Oh,
That's why
okay.
I put the fans up like that.
Yeah.
If the fans were turned inverted, then you're right. What's the point? Okay, so our 12-volt CPU power cable. Now, what's interesting is one end of this cable says CPU, and the other end says MC3. What that means is that you're not supposed to plug the MC3 into the motherboard. The MC3 is the part that goes into the back of the power supply. And you might say, well, aren't they the same on both sides? They are not the same on both sides. If they were, then why would they bother marking them differently? So the question you should be asking yourself is, why did they mark them differently? And if you slow down and you just use critical thinking and your eyeballs, you'll see the connector on this. Go to camera 2. The connector here See how wide this clip is? And see how narrow that clip is? Wide, narrow. Why is this one wide? Because some motherboards only need 4 pins, so this can separate out and become 2 4s, each with its own clip. Hence,
Look at that.
right?
Yeah.
But you can't do that on this end. This end has to be fully plugged into the power supply regardless. So this is critical. And I've seen people fudge it, and it may work, but you did it wrong. And it's not like it was any extra effort to do it right. All you gotta do is pay attention. And if there's something that doesn't make sense to you, look at it, figure it out. And if you can't, use Google, ask Gemini, ask ChatGPT, ask Copilot, ask Carey. He'll tell you. All right.
Don't fudge it up.
All right, so I want to save plugging in the power supply because that'll be easy. We'll leave this disconnected so we have all the room in the world to wiggle this around. And we know we're going to come in through this. If we come around the back here, we have a wiring grommet right up there. So this is how I'm choosing to do it. There's many different ways you can accomplish this, and I'll start feeding that in. I'm going to give myself lots and lots of slack. Thank you, Mitch. Don't make your life any more difficult than it already is. That's all your Uncle Carey's trying to tell you. Now, can I reach in there? It's going to be a challenge. So I'm going to just take the 2 screws out of the board and lift it out. That's just easier. Again, there's probably 6 different ways you can go about doing this. I just want to take the path I think is easiest. I'll take that out of your hands.
I was going to say, what should I do with this? No,
Oh,
no wisecracks. All right.
Never mind.
Okay, yeah. So then when you do, you want me to hold the board, or are you going to like...
Well, if we work with gravity, then we won't do this with the case vertical.
Okay.
We'll have the case laying flat. Now this connector, this will be easy for us. This is the total other side of the board. So we don't have to worry about this one. We can get the board back in there and actually mount it. And we have full access to the whole other side. If we turn this around, you can see that other connector is going to go over on this side, which is wide open. It's this one CPU power connector. And you guys have seen me struggle with that on certain cases, like the 200R. And it's just a matter of maybe thinking ahead or not putting everything together as though you know exactly what you're doing. And you put every screw in and tighten them down and line it up and do all your cable management, and then you realize I'm missing a cable when your system doesn't turn on. So many people forget to put the 12-volt CPU power on, and that means you have to, in this case, we'd have to take all this stuff back out again. So I recommend you proceed with caution. Now, if you're building a second one, in other words, every same part that you've just done, the second one, you'll already know what to do. But if you change one part, boy, that can have a domino effect in the order in which you do things. And what do you got there?
I don't know. They were sitting right here. So.
Oh, leave those there. That's for a different computer. I was trying to kind of tuck them under the streaming computer so that they don't fall off the table. Can you get them underneath?
Well, certainly. Right there.
Yeah, because I didn't want that to happen. I didn't want you to reach over and grab them. I said, you know, I should move these. All right. Anyway, that's my bad. I foresaw that. Let me, let's proceed. Let's bring this down. It's getting a little heavier.
Yep.
And then we'll take the 2 screws out. Which glasses do I want? Guess I'll grab my stronger ones here. Oh, yeah, that helps a lot. And yeah, this screw, this one here is going to be a little bit difficult, but not too terrible. If you wonder why I have such a long bit on my drivers, it's the perfect size for working on anything as far as computers go, because if something's not in my way and I can reach all the way down, it still fits. So the driver sticks up a lot higher. So what? And when it's in a narrow spot where the head of the driver will get in the way and it won't go any further, having that, I think that's a 6 inch I think I had 8-inch and 10-inch ones too, and those were a little bit like I was up here trying to get the screws in. So for me, that's like universal. I'd never, very rarely, I should say, ever have to change that bit for any machine that rolls in here that we're working on. So with those 2 screws removed, and I'm going to set those right there so I don't have to figure out which ones hold the board in. We're going to lift the board up in a way, this way, and then I'm going to pull it down. Once I pulled it down, I can clearly see the 12-volt power connector. So now I can plug the cable in that we've pulled through here. Make sure to orient it with the clip on this board facing the edge of the board, the outside edge. I'm just going to hold on to the block. Oh, that went in nice and easy. Sometimes on some power supplies, the cable connectors can be really difficult to seat. That's how you know you've got a cheap power supply. This one fit like it was made to go in there, which is how they should all fit. And it did a nice solid click without me having to wiggle and jiggle and, you know, really kind of force it in. It went in there just the way it's supposed to. So that's a good sign that you've got a good, well thought out power supply. Now, if you grab the other end of this cable and pull that slack through for me. Now, one other thing I'm noticing here is the CPU power is almost going to be underneath the radiator. So if we don't hook that up now, we may be taking the board out again. I'm not sure yet. It's pretty close. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the same 2 screws in. I'm not going to put all 4 screws in until I know for sure I'm done. So we'll go ahead and keep pulling the slack.
Yep.
And the cable, because it's not sleeved, the individual cables are kind of getting caught up on the edge of the radiator there. Kind of wish that was sleeved. But again, a minor complaint. I'll put the 2 screws back in. In this corner here, like I say, with this driver. Super easy, barely an inconvenience. Now, let's go ahead and bring it back up on its feet. Perfect. And now the other end of this can plug into the power supply. Back here where it says...
awful dark down there.
You know, one of the unfortunate things, and I don't know how power supply manufacturers decide this, but traditionally, the power supply fan will go down towards the bottom of the case. So to me, if I was an engineer or a designer, I would have the default writing facing the opposite way. In other words, if we turn this around and show everybody, all of the stickers on this case are upside down, even though that power supply is with the fan facing down, which is the most common orientation. It's not a law. You can put the power supply in any orientation you want. Some cases may even have it vertical. But the problem that I have now when I'm trying to find which connector to plug this into is all the words are upside down, and all the words on the power supply are upside down, even though that's the most common power supply position. So I would stick with what's most common and flip everything the other way. Not the end of the world. It's not that big of a deal to read upside down. But especially if you had a case window, would you want that seen upside down? It doesn't look like you installed it right. So when it comes to aesthetics, I will say in the 1990s, we didn't care about stuff like this. I don't even think we had modular power supplies back then, now that I think about it. This would have been a non-issue back in the day. Let's see, 12 volt, 2x6, so that's the video card. EPS, and 24 pin. So EPS is going to be right over here. I guess I'll go all the way to the back on that. Well, no, I'll go right here. Get closer. Because there's 2 more underneath. I was thinking if I wanted to use one in the future, I don't want to block my path to it. But with 2 extras, I wouldn't personally foresee using all 3 of those. And if I do, well, I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. Now the 24 pin, while I'm down here, I can go ahead and plug this into the back of the power supply, and then we'll plug that into the board. And then we're pretty much ready to just power it up, I guess. We do need to make sure we have the pump plugged in, and the fans, and maybe the power switch. Oh, now I see. Okay. So on the side of the 24 pin that plugs into this power supply, they've done something a little different here I've never seen before. This end is split into a 6 pin and 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. Or isn't it just 24 on the other side? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. Oh. Then what's this extra 6 pin for?
Does it say on the side?
Mm-mm. Oh, yeah, it does. It says sense. Is that like common sense? Because I'm
Your 2
very
cents?
confused. Yeah, it says sense. It's weird. All right, well, you know what? Now I know what that other connector's for. So let me plug it in down here. Like I was saying, since I'm down here, I like that the cables are kind of already twisted in the right angles here, so I don't have to wind them around each other.
Boy, those snap in easy.
Oh, super easy. If anything, that big one was tight, but it's also the biggest connector, so that makes sense. There's going to be more friction. And then, you know, look how long the cables are. So we've got a long cable length there, which is great when you have a case of this size. If I were to take the power supply out of the mini ITX this board came from, trust me, if we had cables that long, good luck getting them inside the case when you're trying to button it all up. So we would run this through, you know, in theory, we could go all the way to the top and then come down. Or it probably makes more sense, because that radiator's kind of in the way. That would be a tight fit. We could do it. We could bring this cable in all the way to the top, drop it straight down, and then plug it in. That's what's going to make it tight, is all those turns. If we come in over here, push that through, right? And then it's just a short run from here to right there. That's it.
Pull the slack back out.
Yeah, go ahead. Perfect. So all this big bundle here is all the fans and RGB. That's all that is.
Okay.
Which is so annoying to me if I haven't made that clear. And then these black cables here are our front port umbilicals. These should go on nice and easy. Let's go ahead and throw these on. That's going to be our front port USB Type A, our front port USB Type C, our front port power switch. Not sure what the turbo button's going to do, but I don't actually think it does anything other than change the display. And then what else? Front port audio. Where is front port audio? Oh, it's hidden behind that panel. Okay. Yeah, we'll probably go a half an hour long today, but that's still an hour before the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So.
And you get 2 USBs A's and a USB-C right next to the audio. So magnetic clip there, very nice.
This is this looks like a fan header, but it's only got 2 wires. I bet you that's what causes the LED to light up. I bet that's just delivering 5 volts of power, 5 or 12. This is our front panel. It's all in one connector. So we're not hooking up the power switch and reset switch separately. So if we, let's see, where do we have to go with these? Essentially, everything's going to go right on this section of the board right here. So how do I want to get there? Do I want to come in on this side?
Looks like you got plenty of slack there. So.
Oh yeah, reaching it's not a problem. I'm just trying to figure out what's going to look the best. Let's see. Pull that one through. and untwist it. Let me grab a flashlight here because there's two right side by side. Actually, it only fits on one, so I guess I can't get it wrong. Famous last words. Would it go on this one? Or does it go on? Yeah, it has to go here. No choice.
How did we lose the chat?
Oh, my Explorer crashed.
Oh,
That'll happen after a while.
Wow.
Let me refresh the page.
good eye. All right.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you noticed it. And then that should fill in here in a second. There it is. Okay, so then let's see. USB 3, that's going to go through the same way. Are you admiring our work?
You know what? It is spotless. It's super clean. It looks great. I am shocked.
Shocked?
Yeah.
Wait till I turn it on if you want to feel shocked.
Does a lock key really work? In other words, if you turn it the one way, there's no way
Let's
you can.
find out.
There's no way you
Yeah,
can.
I know one
Yeah,
way.
I haven't seen that in what 20 years with the lock thing.
I still love the turbo button. I
Yeah.
think that's hilarious.
HD audio, where does that go on this board? HD audio. Wow, it's going to go all the way to the back corner.
Okay.
I don't think there's a good position for this routing wise other than maybe like that. Is there an opening? There is an opening there. Wow, that is not going to reach. The cable's too short. Wow, I was not expecting that. So maybe if we take the wire tie off, will it give us any extra length? Take that off of there. It's coming off anyway. You know, they've done so well with giving us the length of cables. It's not like it's a short cable, but it has to go all the way to the back, and then it has to go halfway up. Let's see if that gave us any extra slack. Oh my goodness. It's like so close. I think I can make it. I think I can. Ugh, it's just a little too tight for my comfort. Like it'll get on there, but it's going to have pressure on it. So that's not a good route. The other option would be to run it straight across, like through the bottom, which I'm not a fan of looks-wise, but that absolutely gives us what we need. And there are extension cables you can go on Amazon and buy if you really care. But again, there's no
window.
Yeah, there's no transparency on this case once the panels are on. Okay, so that should be our audio. Let me just turn this. Yeah, I think I got that on there.
Okay.
What else? We've got USB. Let's see. This is the Type-C connector, this funky one. And this can go. Well, they're all going to go on the same grommet, I think. Yeah, we'll bring it down here. Or do I want to bring it up here? Decisions. I think it looks better up here. This is a good time to take any sort of twists out of that cable, or you'll be taking it back off later when you're trying to wire tie it. Or nylon zip tie it. Okay, that's the Type-C hooked up.
Okay.
Pull the slack back. And then what do we have? We have this power connector, which I'm guessing lights up the LEDs. Again, it's a good time to, any sort of weaving that's going on, remove that weave. And this can go on any fan header on the board, which looks like, where's our nearest fan header? This mini ITX board does, any mini ITX board kind of limits you on how many fan headers you get, but this one's pretty generous. I think we get 3 on here.
Need a flashlight?
Maybe. I'm gonna go, there's a fan header all the way back by that audio cable. We have a really long cable here. So I'm gonna guess that we can take this and just run it through that, right under here. Maybe that'll hide it pretty well. It's a weird location for a fan header. And it's dark in there. But I do believe I've got that on. Let's grab a flashlight, take a look-see. Yep, nailed it.
Okay.
And I know, what is there, one more left? Our USB 2 type A's. Again, this is a good time to kind of figure out how to keep these from getting woven in with each other. And that one, again, I think really wants to go into this one particular grommet to line up straight to the board. Otherwise, we're bringing it up or down, which is not as visually appealing. Mostly, I'm doing that not for the look, but also for the ease of working at it in the future. So if everything is straight through cabling, then you're not sort of having to weave the cable back out. And we're using less cable, meaning that not only is it a cleaner look up front, but it also means that we can take all this excess, tie it back here. And that makes working on it easier because now we're only dealing with a cable, you know, once it's wire tight, it's this long. The less length of the cable, the easier it is to work within the case with it, right? So you're not getting it all wrapped up in itself and it ties itself in a knot. I don't even, sometimes I pick up cables and they're tied in knots and I'm like, how did I couldn't have made that knot if I tried. And somehow just by winding around, it's looped and then for some reason you can't just unwind it. You have to actually fish it back through and untie the knot. It's frustrating. So the shorter the cable, the less likely you have to deal with that frustration. So that's got all of our front port umbilicals hooked up. That's everything. And then finally, we have the pump that's going to need power. And let's just take a quick look because I can't remember how we hooked this up. Okay, so we have all the ARGB here. And this motherboard does have ARGB headers on it. And I'm going to need my flashlight to find them. I know they're on here somewhere. Oh, right up at the top of the board. So these cables that are out here in the front, we need to put them out to the back. But for the sake of just getting this thing turned on and give it a shot, I'm just going to kind of leave the cables out loose. And we'll worry about making it look pretty. Because this cooler is a cable nightmare. Just a total cable nightmare. So this first cable here, that's power to the all-in-one cooler. So we're going to run that. Oh, I can reach that without the radiator in the way. One of these headers says AIO pump on the motherboard. That's an all-in-one pump. That's what we have. So I'm going to plug that in. And it also is a different color than all the others. Plug that straight in. Now, yeah, I mean, if you have big hands, if you got sausage fingers, that might be a tight fit for you. But you can always take the board back out if that makes it easier for you. Nobody's going to know. And then we have the ARGB header, which goes on for quite a bit here. And this wants to plug into the ARGB on the fans. And then the fans, I guess it doesn't matter. They kind of string up like Christmas lights. So ideally, we would fish this through to the back. You tell me if you can. I'm going to do this. The radiator's really in the way on this.
Okay. In this grommet?
Yeah. Let's see if I can push that through. It's a tight fit, even my hands is having a hard time. Oh, yeah, you had it. I wish I could. Oh, you know what? I can get at it from up here. Duh.
I'm seeing it.
Yeah, I'm almost lined up.
I got it.
You got it?
I got it.
Pull it.
Yep.
All right, keep pulling. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
Nothing up my sleeve or in my next trick.
Right, it's just like handkerchiefs.
Yeah.
It's going to get a little resistance as these other pieces
come more.
through. Keep going. Keep going. All right, you got it. Yay! All right, so it's ridiculous that Thermaltake made those cables that long, especially when Leon Lee uses magnetic connections. So does Corsair and many others, where you don't even have a cable at all. You just have two and you're done. so that's going to be for the lighting control. So on the back of the cooler where we put our fans, did we think ahead and no? This bundle here is all of our fan cables. So let's go ahead and get this undone, because this is the next thing I'm going to fish out to the back. So that was just the lights. This is the lights and the power for the fans here. Just don't quit. And there's a lot. It's a big old mess. So what it looks like is I've got an extension on here. I'm not sure I need it on this build. I think I must have needed this on this. Isn't that weird? On the smaller build, I needed the extension, but on the big build, isn't that backwards? So if that's power, then where's my ARGB? Oh my gosh, what a mess. Okay, so I'm gonna fish this, am I? That's just horrible. That is horrible.
Terrible.
Terrible as
Charles Barkley.
yeah.
Terrible.
Terrible, terrible. All right, so if I plug this one, get those glasses again. It looks like we have a very short ARGB plug here that would fit perfectly. This must have been how I did it before. It's the same motherboard we used before, so kind of makes sense. Plug that one in down here. I think I'm going to need to bring this down because I can't really see. Let's bring this down like this. Yep, that feels good. And then the CPU fan needs power, and we need to share that ARGB stringing off of that onto the block, because the block is already getting power, but it's not getting the ARGB control. It'll light up, it just won't synchronize. You know, and having do this again, I wish I would have run this cable underneath the other one, but I'll deal with that later. So just looking at these fan plugs, I guess I can take the extension off. So I don't think we need it anymore. And plug it in where it says CPU fan. Remember, we're in the all-in-one pump, and beside it is a traditional CPU fan header. And technically, these are the CPU fans when you really think about it. Now, it's definitely not pretty, but we don't need that anymore, I don't think. Extra parts.
He won't need it. All right.
And then this ARGB mess will plug into the ARGB on the block. What did we do with that? Did we leave it up here? Oh, this is all coming off the block. What a crazy... What? So that's going to go through here and plug in. Like, it doesn't matter which ARGB header you use. It looks like I did this a totally different way. In the previous build, it looks like we came in off of this. Either way, it's ugly. Well, just to get her done, let's take this all out. I think a lot of this, if I really think it through, I can get rid of this extension. This whole extension can probably go.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
But just to get it running right now, because we're live, I'm going to just feed that end through here. And without worrying about making it look pretty, I'm just going to plug it in to this ARGB that's got a cover on it to protect the pins. We're going to use those pins so these two can then go together. And I'll set this aside in case I need to put that back later. That's it. I think that's it. See, all this extra. We'll just shove it in here for now.
Smoke test. Mm-hmm.
All right, well, if you reach over there, behind you, there's a black keyboard and mouse sitting right over there.
Yep.
And those glasses are way too strong for this work. Perfect, thank you.
All right, chat. Will it come on or won't it? I'm guessing it will.
Well, we already know we've got the board already working, updated, Windows installed, right? All that part of it was already done because we took this out of a previously used case. You know, the hole here, those are just the little facades that go back in there. We need HDMI output, which we've got right here. So we'll plug in the video output. Now, because we have Windows on this already, we can give it internet access. So we'll plug the Ethernet cable in right there. And finally,
power.
C13 power cable. Power supply is in the off position. Plug that in, power supply on. All right, Uncle Mitch. Will it start without the key?
I'm very excited. I think so.
You see the red power button?
Yeah.
Press it.
Hit
see
it.
What happens. I'd say it's firing up.
We've
got here's the
RGB, as you can see here.
Let's go over to that. See what happens if we get video. So far, no video. Are you nervous?
No, it's going to work.
Man, it seems like it's taking a long time.
I didn't do it. You broke it. All right.
You're in my light.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, this has 96 gigs of RAM in it, and that can really slow your boot up time. On the other hand, maybe I don't have something hooked up I'm supposed to. Don't know yet. Because, yeah. Let's do this. Let's see if we can watch both Mitch and I and this computer. Let's give it.
Shrink us.
Oh, I just heard the fan slow down. It's got to be that 96 gigs of RAM that's taken forever. It's got to be. I'm going to add RAM and make my system go faster. It slows the system down. It depends what you do with your system, but that it's been off for a while, so I think it's retraining. Wow, that's a really long time. I'm pretty sure we got everything right.
You know, you got the HDMI.
It worked when we took it out. Again, 96 gigs of RAM, you really want to make sure you give this enough boot time. Or it's a really post time where it's got to train the RAM. I was hoping it would have remembered it, but it's my best guess.
And Uncle Carey said this was going to be super speedy.
Yeah. Yeah, I set myself up.
Yeah, like a turtle. All right.
Fluid's moving. I can feel the fluid moving through the pump. Everything's running. Fans are on. This usually is an indication of a training issue or that I don't have a cable plugged in all the way. So while we're waiting, I'm going to just unplug and replug my HDMI. This CPU does have video built into it. Make sure we're plugged in all the way in the back on the streamer. And yeah, well, that's a little worrisome.
Cliffhanger. And we'll see you next week.
Right.
Without further ado. All right.
Just trying to think what I could be missing. All the RGB is working, fans are working, pump is running. All this looks good to me. So the only thing I can think of is it's that 96 gigs of RAM. But even still, it's nerve-wracking. I've seen systems take 4 or 5 minutes.
Really?
Yeah. And I don't know if it's been 4 minutes yet. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is a lesson for all of you watching.
Yep.
Your impatience is your worst enemy. You'll sit here and start taking this apart and trying to figure it out, which will take you far longer than if you would have waited and left it alone. That's your lesson. Slower is sometimes faster. Now, from that point forward, it shouldn't take that long. It should remember the training the next time we boot it.
Yep.
So let's go full screen over here for Mitch and myself so we can see it the way you guys at home see it. And then let's take a look at, yeah, see, it's acting like we've never turned it on before with the BIOS somehow getting reset. I want to say no on that. We can look for a new AMD driver while we're here. Does that Thermaltake logo spin? It's bugging me, it's upside down. Oh, it rotates, okay. Manage updates. Yes. AMD privacy view I don't care about. Chipset drivers look up to date. Adrenaline looks up to date. So that's good. And then if we want to verify just the hardware that I said this has, just to prove I'm not a liar or that I'm not remembering it wrong, we'll go to System. And here you'll see our CPU is a Ryzen 9 9950X3D. You can price that out if you want. Windows 11 Pro 25H2. And our amount of RAM is 96 gigs of DDR5. That's 2 sticks that are 48 gigs each.
Whew.
Yep.
Good luck paying for that now.
Yeah. You know what? 12 more payments and it's all mine.
Yeah.
All right. So now, if we were to put these little pieces back in, oh, you know what? Where's my turbo? Did I just hit reset and nothing happened? This is why I should wear my glasses. What's this button do? Let's see. Reset, turbo. Turbo light lights up. We're not getting any lighting over here, which I wonder if that's what these other... Oh, this is a fan controller back here. It takes a SATA power connector like you'd use on the back of a 2.5-inch drive or even a 3.5-inch hard drive, and that's going to power this, and the turbo must speed up the fans.
Okay.
I'll bet you that's what it does. Reset doesn't seem to work, but maybe that's because we don't have power to this yet. But I wonder if that affects the key. So I'm curious, if I tap the button that should power down, I bet to avoid support calls, the key is defaulted into the on position.
Okay.
So let's turn the key. Okay, so I turned it towards me.
Nothing. Nada.
Can you imagine how frustrating it would be to try and get your computer to boot when you didn't realize you just bought a 90s retro case, buddy? What are you thinking? So the good news is You can turn it on, take the key out, never mess with it again. Or if you really feel like the old days, you make yourself use the key.
Didn't some people leave it just hanging in there?
Yeah.
I mean,
quite often it would just be hanging in the
there,
computer. Yeah. Although I will say, a lot of times it came with the keys, and we would just turn it to the on position, and nobody knew where the keys were.
Right.
You'd deliver it with the computer, and then 2 years later, the customer, or maybe even a year later back then, would need some help, and you'd say, "Oh, I need the key. Where's the key?" I don't even know when you would need the key, to be honest. But the point is that if you did, nobody knew where the keys were. But they're all keyed exactly the same, so any key of that design will fit and work just fine. Not exactly, you don't need to be a locksmith to figure it out. It's pretty simple stuff. So to put these back in, you just line it up. And then this little
doodad.
Yeah, it's like a little, like on a door, you might have a deadbolt, kind of deadbolts it in there. So this side goes in first, and then that should align and close it down. Difficult to do without seeing. Yeah, it really has to muscle that. It's pretty stiff. I was like, why isn't it turning? And I'm just being too gentle with it. Once you get that started in there, there it goes. I mean, you should be able to do it without looking. I should be able to just look at the face, put it in there. And then, yeah, it's actually easier to not look. Try not to overthink it, Carey. See if I can at least support this first. Then close it in.
There you go. Mm-hmm.
There it is. And look, we're right at our time. Still an hour before the ball game starts. The bowl game. Get your hot wings and your nachos ready.
Uncle Carey, please show them my great acting.
That's right. Yeah. So Mitch has a
new monologue that I did a couple of weeks ago. And my acting teacher, Mr. Romeo Brown, who you will see in June, because he's in the new Green Lantern. And he got sick of living over in Los Angeles, and so he moved to Phoenix, and he directed me on this clip. What he did was he was in the room for the first take, and he could see I was kind of a little nervous with, my acting teacher being in the room, directing me. So then for the second take, he said, I'm going to step outside the room, and you just talk to the cameraman. And he, poked me a little, not literally, but he kind of knows what buttons to push to get me where I needed to be. And he stepped out of the room, and we finished, and he came in and watched it and went, I'm very pleased. He's like, I don't think you need to do it a third time. So one of the gals, he had to work with like 20 takes to get something. And it was he showed me hers, but he's like, no, I spent like 2 hours. He's like, I'm so proud of you, Mitch. I'm like, well, I've been doing this for 13 years. Sometimes, I better be getting a little better. So.
When I can speak for myself at Newegg in the studio. I know what I wanted to do in my head. It was pretty straightforward. But then you got the camera operator, and you got the lights on you.
Yeah.
You've got a producer with headphones on, read a notepad, and they go, action. And I go, let's do that again. And I may have to say something simple, and I can turn away, say it again, okay, action, and then get the words backwards or leave something out. So it sounds like it's easy to do, but make no mistake, maybe some people are just born with a gift, but it seems like for most people, there's a process, right? And if you're still, just beginning in acting or whatever, I imagine you don't have that process established. Some people are method actors. They get in the role, they stay in it all day.
Yep.
You don't do that, do you?
Well, and you'll always have nerves, but I mean, there's nerves and then there's terrified, and
Yeah.
you don't want to be terrified. So.
Well, it's okay to be terrified. I think you have to face it, and as you become more familiar with it,
Yep.
it becomes less terrifying.
Yep.
It's just something like riding a bicycle. You're just never going to understand it till you might be afraid to fall, and you might fall.
Yep.
Get back on it again, and eventually you very rarely will ever fall again. But you have to have the opportunities.
Yep.
So Mitch has been lucky enough to been cast in a couple commercials and movies and things like that. He's in the IMDb, the Internet Movie Database, and they often do these what do you call them? These little short reels that are sent to like casting.
Demo reel.
Is it demo reel?
A clip or a clip. Demo clip.
It could show different sides of acting ability. It could be emotional, it could be laughter, it could be excitement, it could be sadness.
Yeah.
And so what we've got here is what?
Drama.
Drama. Well, but we're on the internet. It's the perfect place.
Yeah. So here we go.
You know, when I look back on my life, sometimes I think having never been married was the mistake. So what I've learned is you really need to value this time in your life, because this is the time in your life where you still have your choices, and it goes by so fast. When you're a teenager, you think you can do anything, and you do. Your 20s are a blur. Your 30s, you raise your family, you make a little money, and you think to yourself, what the fuck happened to my 20s? Your 40s, you grow a little pot belly, you grow another chin, the music starts to get too loud, and one of your old girlfriends from high school becomes a grandmother. Your 50s, you'll have a minor surgery. You'll call it a procedure, but it's still a surgery. Your 60s, you'll have major surgery. The music is still too loud, but it doesn't matter because you can't hear it anyway. Your 70s, you and a wife retire to Fort Lauderdale, where you spend your days wandering around in search of the perfect frozen yogurt, while you wonder, why don't the kids ever call? You'll finally have a major stroke in your 80s, and you'll end up babbling to some Jamaican nurse who your wife can't stand, but who you end up calling mama. Any questions?
All right.
There you go.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
Bravo.
Yes.
Popcorn. I'm throwing popcorn.
And as Uncle Carey said, chat, IMDb, short for Internet Movie Database. You just type in Mitch Morrison, that clip. I just loaded that up this afternoon, or this morning. And then my other clips, me playing a Los Angeles detective or a medical doctor. My brand, I need a clip playing a lawyer. So as an actor, you've got to kind of know what your brand is, what roles you can play. And mine's either the seasoned doctor, the mature lawyer, or the grisly police detective.
We're all three.
Yeah, we're all three.
Mitch Morrison, the doctor, cop, lawyer.
Fridays at 9 p.m. All right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Only on CBS.
Yeah, on CBS. Yeah.
That's a great clip.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
I'm bringing up the wrong link. Here's what I wanted to show everybody. The email address, if you want to reach out to us. We love hearing from you guys. showcasecreate@gmail.com. Thanks, of course, to everybody joining us today. Of course, our friend Mitch for hanging out.
Before you cut out,
yes.
can I jump in really quick?
You want to jump in? Come on in. I know she's super excited about the Super Bowl starting.
Oh yes, very excited.
So I don't have the LEDs lit up yet because this is a fan controller. I didn't realize that. So it needs a SATA power connection off the power supply. But then the LEDs will light up over there.
So great. Oh, hello.
You're nobody can see you.
I know. Here, is that better?
There you go.
Hi, everybody. I just wanted to thank you for joining us. Hope you enjoyed this. I love this. I think this is great. But I also did want to say, if you're looking to upgrade your diet, upgrade your nutrition, get some extra protein, I just wanted to provide a quick reminder about my cookbooks. All the links are in the video notes, as well as a discount code for the products that I use. If you're interested in just upgrading your eating game, the cookbook should provide that for you, as well as the products that I use. Again, I'm a type 1 diabetic, and I watch everything that I eat, and I cook everything that's in those cookbooks. Lots of pictures, lots of instructions, and if you're looking for any ideas or for a little assistance, definitely reach out using the email address, and I'd be happy to help you. So just wanted to provide that quick update. Thank you, everybody.
Low carb, sugar-free.
Low carb, sugar-free, keto,
and delicious.
and can be vegan as well, which I was vegan, hardcore vegan for about 6 years.
She's got a bunch of healthy Super Bowl snacks.
Lots of really
right
good, healthy Super Bowl snacks. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So thank you for joining us, and I hope you enjoyed this. I really like this. Is great, huh? I love it. Love it.
I'm very happy. I'm much more pleased with this case with these parts, which I knew ahead of time. I knew when I pulled this motherboard and cooler out of that older case, I said, okay, now the case isn't so terrible anymore.
So clean.
And now putting those parts in here, and again, when we get that side panel on, you're not going to see the inside. I'm still going to cable manage it and make it look nice. And I will hook power up to get the LEDs up front. The fan controller part, I don't. Let the motherboard control your fans. This is old school. But, you know, it's an option that you can take advantage of if you want to. It doesn't cost anything extra if you use it or you don't want to use it. I just want to see the LEDs light up. So, yeah, overall, though, I think it looks good. I'm very happy with it. I had a feeling this was pretty much what I was expecting it to be. I really thought the original build that this was in with the Thermaltake case was going to be what I thought it was, and it turned out to be very different in reality. So the lesson learned is if you do want to build a very small mini ITX build, don't buy the most expensive, hardest to cool CPU out there unless you really appreciate the challenge. Even though these cases, many of them do, such as the one we used, claim to support a cooler, it made everything a very tight fit, and everything was very frustrating with all the excess cabling. It was over the top, very expensive and frustrating, and at the end of the day, I turned out not using it. I ended up setting it aside because it just disgusted me. Now with the parts removed out of there, different parts of the Thermaltake case, I am happy with that case now. I am happy with this case as well. Everything went in here super easy, and you know, minor room for improvement, I'd say. But overall, I think you get a lot of case for your $230 or whatever it's selling for. Again, I don't quite get the vertical GPU, and I don't quite get why it's so wide. I wish it was a little narrower, more traditional to a 90s style case. You know, look at how much extra room we have up here on the cooler. That's about the biggest cooler you'd be putting in there. So I don't know why this has to be this additional width. Again, it just seems like it's a little wide if we're trying to emulate a 90s style case. Then I think they've got the material right, they've got the build quality dead on, they got the paint color good, but a vertical GPU mount doesn't make any sense without a clear panel. I don't know why it's there, and I think that's what's adding the additional 2.5 inches to the width. If I could change that one thing, I think it'd be a great case. You know, this power supply doesn't need to be this far over from the edge. It could be much closer to me, and we could lop everything off from here down, and you'd have much more of a tower, of old school tower. So again, I'm not quite sure who the vertical GPU mount is for. I did not hook up the front fans yet, which I will do. I guess I'll plug the front fans into this fan controller, and we'll plug a SATA power connector from the power supply. We'll grab one of the modular cables and plug it in, and then the only difference you're going to see is this will light up right here, and I guess the turbo button just speeds the fans up. Oh, and I didn't hook up the rear fan either, so I've got to hook the rear fan, which again, I think the rear fan and the two front fans will go on this fan controller, only because our motherboard only has one more. No, it doesn't. I think we used all three of the fan headers on the board. So turns out we're going to need that fan controller or a fan splitter. why buy the splitter if the fan controller's already there? What do you think, Mitch?
I liked it. I liked it. And Chad, if I don't see you before I leave March 12th, I'm going back to Hong Kong because I really enjoyed that in November. A big city where everyone speaks English and the weather ought to be about 75
I like how when
degrees.
you go to somebody else's country, they have to speak your language.
Right, right.
I'm American, damn it.
So I will spend about 5 days in Hong Kong and then fly to Taipei and spend about 10 days in Taiwan. Then go back to Hong Kong for a couple of days and home. So, yeah, I mean, these 14-hour flights are a bit brutal, but, you know.
Better you than me.
Yeah, you just pop an Ambien and hope you don't
Pop an Ambien.
And hope you don't sleepwalk down the aisle and try to open the emergency exit. Then you wake up duct taped to the seat.
Where's my kidney?
Yeah, so, yep, on the road again for Uncle Mitch. You know.
I never did figure out where this went.
Yeah, you'll Google it.
Looks like it goes up here. Didn't I say that already?
Yeah.
It looks like it's like for cables.
You'll figure it out.
Yeah, I was hoping I'd get there before the end of the show, and I totally forgot. We'll do a follow-up. We'll show you when it's all finished up. Everything else is kind of just a little spit polish, that's all. And then whether or not I want to put the GPU support bracket in there, I'm kind of leaning against no, but definitely want to keep it. It's always an option to add in the future should our needs change and we want to, you know, put a full-size graphics card, no problem. I have also no intention of loading these up with old-fashioned 3.5-inch hard drives. So I may leave that out as well just to cut the weight and just put everything like in a, I might just grab a shopping bag because these are so big and you don't have to worry about static. Just drop it all in a shopping bag and keep it with the computer so I keep everything together. I'm also a little disappointed we didn't get any documentation with the case. That's what I was looking through here. This is all the power supply, the thing we don't need any documentation for. And for oddities like this, it would have been nice to know, you know, right out of the box so that I'm having to go to the website and look at the PDF file, which is what I'll do. Not the end of the world, but minor suggestions for improvement. A super shout out and thanks over to SilverStone for sending us the case.
Yep.
And allowing us to review it. And it's pretty rare that I find something that I can't nitpick about. But overall, I'd say the complaints are very minor. And this blows me away in just the build quality and the overall sort of loyalty that they're staying to the original 90s designs. It's very, very, I can't stress enough, very well built. This thickness of this metal, you really do get what you pay for. Again, a $230 case is not a cheap case. However, you can tell the money's there in the materials and in the upgradability of it with regards to any sort of graphics card restrictions, minimize the number of hard drives, which again for me is not a big deal, but might mean something to you. It has options a lot of other cases don't have. And what a surprise, someone's going to see this sitting on a desk and think, wow, how old is that? And you turn it on, it's a 9850X3D with 96 gigs of RAM, right?
Yep.
So it's what we call a sleeper. And yeah, I'm very happy with it. I anticipate when we get the rest of Studio C set up behind me, I expect this will be on showcase along with the Xenos, the spaceship, the cube.
The tube.
You know, we have so many, yeah, and the tube. We have so many unique cases that don't necessarily look like computers, or they look like relics that used to be computers, but only to find out not only do they run, they're rocket ships. Yeah, they work, and you know, you'll covet them. And that's the ultimate goal, is to put those machines behind me. This could easily be my next streamer. Now that it's in this case, now it can work as the streamer. The problem is my bench is still, it takes up too much room. But again, if the studio changes and we end up having a bigger work area, I'd love to be able to have this next to me and do the live stream. But that's why we have this one over here. That's what's enabling you to watch us live right now, is that little guy right over there. Thank you to Buster and Mark Gaines for your Amazon gift cards today. Thank you to all our members in green for supporting us, and to everyone else who's hanging out and joined us today.
Yeah, enjoy the game. Have a
May your
nice
team win. Go Sports.
Enjoy the commercials and have a nice rest of your Sunday. I may ride the bike tomorrow or Tuesday because it's supposed to be 80, 81. So fire up the bike and And probably take a run out to Bartlett Lake.
Just looking for any final comments in the chat. I think we're caught up. Leadman70 said this is better than the Super Bowl. Well, the Super Bowl's not on yet. How can you determine that?
And I will tell you, chat, because I'm going back to Hong Kong, your Uncle Mitch is on the fence, but there's an island called Macau, and Macau has a tower on it, and I went up in it in the observation and realized that you can bungee jump off of this tower, and it's the second highest bungee jump in the world, but to do it, they want $450. But you free fall for about 5 to 7 seconds. So
I can do that for free if I push off the roof.
Yeah, so I'm kind of on the fence because at the end of March, there's a big actors weekend 2-day thing here in Phoenix where my teacher's agents from Atlanta, talent managers are coming over for this 2-day thing, and yeah, I would hate to be injured when I'm trying to impress them. So I don't know. I mean, I've bungee jumped 3 times, so it wouldn't be the fear that's scaring me because I already done it, so I know it. But yeah, you'll have to YouTube Macau Tower bungee jump, and when you see the videos, you're like, don't do it, Uncle Mitch. That's just too high up. So whew.
And you're going to travel all that way just to get tossed off a bridge?
Off a
building?
very high building, yeah.
Well, something's very high if they're doing that.
Yeah. Well, they may see how old I am and go, sorry, Pops. Yeah, we don't let guys your age, so I don't know. I'm on the fence. I probably won't do it because, yeah.
All right, guys, that'll wrap it up for us for today. And again, thanks for hanging out.
Yeah, it was great.
Out.
Yeah, it was great. Great build. I mean, yeah, a heck of a case. And so I would buy one, but as Uncle Carey knows, Uncle Mitch has 5 desktops. He's like, what do you need? 5? I'm like, I don't really. So. And
then about 2 weeks later, he says, "Do you have any ideas on what? I got this computer. It's perfectly fine.
Yeah,
it's in the closet. I feel like I should do something.
Something with it.
Like,
would you bring it out of the closet?"
I'm like, well, why did you buy a 5th one just to put that one in the closet? Right. Never mind that.
Yeah.
Pay attention.
Yeah. So there you go.
And so the wheel goes around. Yeah. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Enjoy the ball game if you're interested, and the commercials if you're not. That'll wrap it up for us for today. And until, well, tomorrow, our members only video for all the members will be on the regular time, Mondays at 1 o'clock Phoenix time. That's going to wrap it up, and we will see the members tomorrow, and everybody else. Nothing scheduled this week until Friday, but there still may be something Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday. I don't know yet, but nothing on the schedule until Friday for sure. So that's where we're at right now with this, the whole business. So everything's really slowed down, but I can't think of what it is, but there's something I wanted to show you this week. And if I can remember, just watch for it. Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. That'll be a public video.
Keyword is if. All right.
That is a significant keyword. I can't think of what it is, but I'm pretty sure there's something.
Okay.
All right. That'll wrap it up. Thanks for watching. Until next time.
Bye for now.